canceled for watching YouTube video about cancelable offense.
Delete the video. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What? Sorry.
Wait, go back.
Cody.
What did she say on the opening in this like this was like the first instance of this appearing.
Oh my God, did no one look at me, Cody Co.
Oh, she said who she slept with, which was Cody Co.
Delete the video. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What? Sorry.
Cody Cho.
Cody Co is a YouTuber with over 6 million subscribers.
One of the largest commentary creators on YouTube, knowingly committed a crime.
I was at a playlist live and they were like trying to hook up with me. I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25.
Flew to Orlando for Playlist Live.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm just here at Playlist Live.
Oh, bro. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I did indeed watch Tana, like, when she first came out. Like, if you all watched the, I got fucked by a toothbrush video, like, I was watching Tana during that era when she first came up, and it is so funny to see her, like, face, like, because she's truly, like, it's like, oh my God, she really was, like, such a little baby. Like, even though I'm pretty sure she was, like, 16 or 17 at the time, like, which is obviously not, like, a baby or whatever, but she had, like, very much, like, a baby face. Also, Nightwolf, thank you for the 2 years! Like, she just looks so different now. Like, you can tell how much she's, like, matured. It's so funny, like, looking at her.
Having a great time.
Oh my God.
Ooh, you're joking.
No, that wasn't a joke.
Wait, is that... Okay, I've never understood. Is this Cody Cole's girlfriend or wife? Like, is he married? He's married, right? I don't know, like, all the Cody Cole lore. I know that he was on Vine. Sup, losers, how we doing? Well, we're watching this. Wife, I think? Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be rough right now.
Joking.
Don't ever do this to me again.
Cody Co. Okay, so for people who don't know Cody Co, if you do know someone who I'm sure you'll know, Gani, I was gonna say Gani Habi, Gabby Hannah came up on Vine, and Cody Co came up on Vine on the same time. So they're from that era of the internet. If you know Vine and who was like popular, there was a bunch of Vine people who came from Vine when Vine shut down and then went to YouTube, and there was only a few that were actually successful. Cody Co was one of them. He like did meme content on Vine for a while, and then he like transferred into commentary videos. Also, thank you for gifting subs. Thank you guys. It's very sweet of you for letting people avoid the ads.
He hasn't said anything. He hasn't acknowledged it.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Picture this. It's a Friday night and you're ordering a drink at a trendy bar in downtown Orlando. The place is packed thanks to a creator event that's happening, and you're running into a lot of familiar
Wait, this
faces.
happened at
Some of them are
Playlist
your personal
Live?
friends, but a lot of them are people you recognize from their online videos. And you're getting recognized too, so good times all around with good people. But in the corner, you spot one creator in particular chatting up a young blonde girl. She's newer on the scene, but quickly rising to the top, and she's not even 18 years old, even though she's surrounded by much older adults all fawning over her. And the main guy she's talking to, well, he's 25 and an even bigger online creator. You've talked with him before, so once their conversation kind of breaks up, you pull him aside to mention that the girl he's flirting with is only 17, and maybe it's best he doesn't take the flirty conversation any further. He assures you that it's all good, so crisis averted.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, I didn't know this part of the lore. So someone literally told him, like clocked him flirting with her, and literally was like, "She's too young, bro," and he still went through with it.
Right? Until you.
Wait, Gabby told him? Like Gabby Hannah? Like what we were just talking about. That's okay. Okay.
You see out of the corner of your eye in the darkened bar that not only did he go back to the girl, but it looks like she's leaving with him. So you wonder, like, should I stop him? Should I run after him? But the moment has passed. She's probably fine, and he wouldn't do anything like that. And they've already disappeared into the night, and so you carry on with yours, never expecting what might happen next. And this is what we know.
Oh God. There's so many people already
hello,
involved
hi,
in
it's my
this.
face again. Swoop! Oh, guess who's back? Me. Hi! I have missed you all. It feels so good to be back. As many of you know, I took some time
the
off
editing's
after
always
being
good with
physically
Swoop's
assaulted,
videos.
and I just kind of needed some time to heal physically, and you know, yeah. So just thank you again with all of my
want this
heart
hair
for your
color, but it
incredibly
would make
kind
me look
messages.
so bad
I
with my
appreciate
skin
you all
tone.
so very much. We really just have the
It'd
most
make me look
amazing
washed
community
out.
here. So as I was slowly starting to re-enter the internet over the last bit, I just like, holy bits. I feel like I stepped into the total abyss. I was just like, what the hell is going on? Cody Co, Dr. Disrespect, Ava Tyson, real.
Okay, like genuinely though, what the fuck has been going on? Because I haven't talked a lot about this stuff because it's just been like week after week of this nonsense. But literally, chat, the way every creator who like has a following over 1 million, okay, let's not say every, but a like large chunk, have been genuinely like coming out with the most disgusting random shit. And I'm like, can people like chill? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Really, I gotta say this, like, I don't know if it's what I just lived through or what's going on, but I kind of feel like a new era of Swoop is upon us, honey, okay? She is processing a lot. And like, I don't know if this makes sense, and we're not gonna dwell on it, but like, at first, after what happened, I went through these stages, right? Like, at first, I was injured, so it was really scary, and then I was just racked with anxiety, and then I got really depressed and lost a lot of weight, and now I feel a little angry. Like I'm pissed and I'm petty as hell. But I thought, you know what? Like, I can work with anger. Like, can any of you relate out there? I don't know. This is like so like, as life has just been lifing all over the place, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe I've entered my clapback era, so I might not be as polite with some folks anymore. So I don't know. Hide the assholes. New Swoop is here. Sorry, coping mechanism. I gotta make a joke. Now, if you're seeing me for the first time, I'm sorry, this is not my normal intro, but welcome. I'm a documentary filmmaker and commentary creator, and I make swoop docs on unsolved cases, true crime, and social media influencers who abuse their power and manipulate audiences because, as I always say, it's not drama, it's dangerous. We also dig deeper into the root psychology, perspectives, play devil's advocate, and sometimes we take it to Petty University because, as you could probably tell, petty is my coping mechanism. If you want to join the Petty University community, all are welcome, and connect with me on Instagram and Twitter.
Oh my God,
for
is that a
chance to be
wig?
featured in upcoming
that
swoop
blonde wig
docs,
kinda
life updates, all of
ate.
that. And of course, you can grab your very own apparel pieces from the Valid Ribcage and Valid Social Club
Guys, we're
collections
doing
like I'm wearing
ethical
here.
reacts,
They're all
so
in the
we're gonna
Petty
sit
University
through it.
shop, linked below as always.
Because listen, I'm gonna be real. I would skip through it if it was myself, if I was watching on my own. But because I'm watching it with an audience, I'm going to watch it all the way through because theoretically I am taking away views from her video because you guys are going to watch it here, and that doesn't feel fair fully if I just like skip to what I want to see. So we will sit here and we will watch. It's fine, guys. She's just doing her intro, her usual spiel.
They actually might not be here much
Oh,
longer.
it's long.
I don't know. We are
She
getting ready to
goes
release
deep.
the new
It's a
line
mini
of
doc.
apparel that I've been working on forever. So just a heads
She
up
covered
with that.
the Colleen
Okay, real quick
Ballinger
before we dive in,
situation,
can you
and
hear
it was
me
like
okay?
the best
How
video
are you
of
feeling?
it by far.
Is anyone else feeling like you're running out of steam? Well, you know what never runs out of steam? The freaking battery life on my Raycon Everyday earbuds. Hey!
Period,
So
Raycon.
thank you to Raycon for
are
sponsoring this
also
video. They've been
Raycon
a huge
headphones.
supporter of the channel.
Ignore
So
the
if y'all have been
Logitech
with me for a
brand.
while, you know that I am a huge fan of Raycon. I have been wearing my everyday earbuds literally for years, and I don't
Chat,
know what
how
I
many
would
of
do
you
without them.
guys,
Like, I
when a
wear my
YouTuber
Raycons
does an ad like
everywhere,
this,
all
skip
the
through it?
time,
Like,
editing,
do
working
people
out,
really
going
watch,
on walks,
like, through
running
these? 'Cause
errands,
I feel like
taking calls,
everyone
cleaning
skips
the house,
them.
literally everywhere, and I feel like I almost never have to charge the battery. It doesn't make any sense. They have a
Has
massive
anyone- wait,
32-hour
has
battery
anyone in
life, and if you're
chat
ever in a pinch,
ever
there's a new quick
bought
charge
something
function
that a
where just 10
YouTuber has,
minutes
like,
of charge gives
promoted
you
like
90
this?
minutes of battery. Who do they think
I'm,
they
like,
are?
wondering, like,
And
is
y'all,
this
even
worth
better
it
yet,
for a
I am
brand?
so freaking excited about this. Raycon's
Skip
everyday
said no
earbuds now
money?
feature active ergonomic design, multi-point
Okay, Nick
connectivity
said yes.
that lets
Nick,
you
what did
pair
you
with
buy?
2
What was
devices
it?
at once, which is literally a game changer. Like, I can hop from my phone to my computer or like a tablet instantly. I don't have to like
like her
unpair and then
necklace.
pair and like all of that mess. And drum roll, they now have active noise cancellation. The
Raycons?
difference
Wait,
in
you
the
have
sound quality,
Raycons?
it is magical.
give us
I'm
your
not
thoughts.
kidding. Not only are these earbuds
Out of
hands down the
5,
most comfortable
what do you
I've
rate the
ever
Raycon
worn,
that
and
have.
they never fall out, like ever, which is why I'm never letting go of these.
NordVPN.
And they also
Fair
just came
enough.
out with the most beautiful new colors. I am so obsessed. This lavender is like everything to me. They
You're not
officially
skipping.
have everything that I need in my earbuds.
Ethical
Seriously, if you
reacts.
want the most incredible noise cancellation.
Listen, you want someone to skip, go to an XQC fucking stream, and you can deal with that little Trumpy. But here, we respect the creator, even though I am bored, but it's fine.
Canceling earbuds with the best sound and battery life. Get yourself some Raycons and click the link in the description box below or go to buyraycon.com/swoop to get 20 to 40% off
5
your
out of
Raycon
5,
purchase
but my
plus
knockoffs are
free
just as
shipping.
good.
It's such a great deal. I want to thank
Fair,
all of
fair,
you who continuously
fair.
check out the sponsors and for checking out Raycon, which is a great way to support this channel and get something incredible for yourself. So click the link in the description box below or go to
honest, I would rather not watch a video than
buyraycon.com/swoop
watch
to
all
get
these
20 to
ads.
40% off your whole Raycon purchase plus
It
free
is
shipping,
what
and
it
treat
is.
yourself,
Listen,
honey.
creators
You
have to make
deserve
money
it.
somehow,
Okay,
right?
back
Like-
to the doc. Okay, we're ready
No
to
one
dive
could do
in,
this for
and just
free,
as heads
this
up, while this
level,
is a heavy
especially.
topic, there will be no graphic discussion.
I didn't watch Aiden Ross's Trump stream, but I know about it, and I can't fucking stand Aiden Ross. Like, if he ever comes up to talk to me, I'm gonna tell him to leave me alone. Like, genuinely. He's so gross and a weirdo.
Discussions to make sure we adhere to the platform's policies and to try to keep this digestible for all of you watching. We have a lot to cover with this Cody Co. tanamongeau story, and I know many creators have covered this, as well, of course, as D'Angelo Wallace's very stellar piece, which will be linked along with some other creators.
the
But
hair
there are
ate.
some
D'Angelo's
truly
hair?
disturbing twists to the story on top
So
of
blunt,
everything
such like
else
a
that I haven't
blunt
really
cut,
seen
like, it's like-
covered as much. So instead of just exclusively rehashing the timeline, we're going to dig into some other aspects as well. Part of the focus today will be on the very harmful idea that the perfect victim exists. We don't. And from what I've learned from just my own experiences and covering these stories, the myth of the perfect victim can also create the idea of the perfect crime, the perfect witness, and the perfect response. So we'll unpack all of that. I won't be covering the Colby Leachman situation today to keep the
Wait,
focus
what?
more on Tana. And if any
Colby
of you
Leachman,
have
what's
experienced harm
that?
and are in need of some immediate free support, there are
I didn't know
resources
about that.
available and linked below.
What's that
Please be
about?
safe.
Is there more
Okay,
to this?
Let's dive in.
All right, get
Next
ready for the
made me
tea.
want to vomit. Which R. Kelly being 31 and like charming up 17-year-old girls. That's weird as fuck. And like the music
But
producer
you
like,
didn't-
took the words out.
Oh, this is such a bad look. See, this is a problem. This is a problem when you're an online creator, especially in this kind of space, like where like you're not like a celebrity, so not everything around you is like controlled. People will find and use and like just show like your truest like levels of hypocrisies like at its core. Like it's rough.
Out of my mouth. He's like, you can just tell when you just know it. It doesn't matter how much makeup they have, like you just know it. I'm like, yeah, you do. Like there's an innocence about being 17.
This story starts with Cody Michael
Oh.
Kolojashizek, better known as Cody Co, a
Should you switch
34-year-old
categories?
Canadian
Oh, I probably
influencer and
should.
self-professed actor slash comedian slash YouTuber slash
reminding me.
podcaster slash SoundCloud rapper slash internet bad boy. Seriously, that's literally the bio on his YouTube channel, which is more or less Cody's main shtick. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I never watched a full Cody Co video, apart from when I was researching my doc about Girl Defined, and I don't know, we may have pulled an asset from his
Fucking
channel
Girl
here and
Defined.
there over other docs, but I've just kind of never been in his world. But
They
his
were
main
friends for
channel
so
has
long, the
over
other guy
6
surely
million
knew about
subscribers,
it.
and that's
Oh,
just one
I
of his
agree.
5 channels. But
They're,
before
like,
he was
very
Cody
close.
Co, the YouTuber and the bad boy, love that, he was Cody Co, the frat boy. There he is, folks, frat Cody, Frody, if you will. And this isn't just me dunking on Cody or fraternities.
Red flag number 1 right there. Red flag number 1 if they were in a frat.
Although I could do an entire swoop doc on fraternity behavior, that's a
I would love
lot.
that.
I don't know if I
I
want to
would
go
love
down
that doc.
Sounds miserable. But also, Cody literally referred to himself as, quote, a shithead frat boy in an interview with his college newspaper, in which he also
Oh.
admits to trashing a vacation rental house with his frat boys and also talks about his rap career. We're using that word very loosely today. He was
Show it
also
to me,
on the
Rachel.
swimming and diving team
Show
at
it to
Duke
me.
University. So the question, how did he rise to
How did she find out all this information? I don't know anything. Like, to be fair, I'm not a Cody Co stan in any regard. I've maybe watched like a couple of his videos that were very popular. But damn, I did not know all this info.
YouTube fame. And why was the college paper even interviewing him anyways? Well, back in 2012, a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Frody graduated from Duke University with a degree in computer science and an app idea. Cody created an app called I'd Cap That. Yeah, you might start to notice the nauseatingly consistent frat boy, you know, make everything suck theme, but his app basically added captions to images to create memes.
And I'd Cap That basically automatically adds a caption to anyone's photos.
Yeah.
Are you funny? Did you create them yourself?
I'm pretty funny, I don't know. Hard to answer that question, but
interesting.
You created all the captions yourself?
Yeah, I had help from like a couple friends at the very beginning. Like we kind of just like sat around and, you know, drank some beers and came up with captions sort of thing. Yeah, that
He's 21, just FYI.
Yeah, exactly. It was legal. Yeah, and then so my friends helped me out, but I came up with most of them.
This was somehow groundbreaking at the time. I'm pretty sure meme generators existed back then, but I digress.
So, you know, captioning photos is not a new idea. You know, it's been around for a long time.
And you know, a sidebar really quick, I gotta, like, it's funny how when girls make sexual jokes or themed content, they're, what is it that they're usually called? Oh yeah, filthy whores. But when guys do it, it's cute and so funny.
Damn, girl. Are you a bird feeder? Because I'm in the mood to spread some seed, you feel me? What's that? What are you doing?
And this is just a taste of the highly sophisticated brand of humor we can come to expect from Cody Co. But it was 2012, standards were, I mean, they were in the gutter, and the app gained 4 million users within the first 4 months, and a lot of money was
4 million?
I mean, if they were running the business smart.
So
wait,
how
that's
successful
crazy.
was this app? Or has it been?
So it's been really successful. So basically, like the viral nature of the content just allowed the app to take off, and within a couple weeks.
Thank you so much for the
like when
22
it first was in the App Store, it was growing pretty slowly. Like all my friends downloaded it, and they were showing to their friends, sort of thing. It was growing like you know, moderately for a little bit, and then all of a sudden one day it just started doubling every single day, thousands of downloads every day.
What happened? What was that turning point?
I integrated Twitter initially because it was really, really frictionless with iOS 5. It was super easy to tweet from in the app, right? I think that's what had a really large effect.
I've never heard of it.
It's clear that he understood the nature of virality and how to capitalize on an internet following, even in the early days. Like, this little bit of notoriety landed him a stint working for tech companies in Silicon Valley. But in 2013, Cody left his job and took a backpacking trip through Asia with his friend Devin Townsend, who went on to found the app Cameo, by the way. So, yeah, that's an accomplishment. And that year, there was another app gaining momentum that would birth the first generation of mobile content creators of sorts, you know, the short form. You know what I'm talking about. It's Vine. Yeah, Vine.
I didn't realize how connected he was.
Deadly death. Cody and Devin began posting Vines about their experiences while traveling and occasionally, you know, trying to be funny. But a lot of times, I mean, it was just kind of like offensive, especially if you're looking at it now. Now, Cody gained an initial following through these travel videos and quickly branched out into making more general sketch comedy style content.
I think you got some new dog on there.
What? What's new dog?
Well, my wife left me.
What? Are you going to Coachella?
Oh, no. Oh. Let's get out of here. Babe, I've been cheating on you.
Oh, thank God. I hate you. I've been waiting to break up with you.
I was kidding.
Me too.
Guys, it's so funny watching Vine now because it really wasn't that funny. There's maybe like a couple Vines that are funny, but damn, Vine was really not that funny. Maybe we'll feel the same way about TikTok in like 5 to 10 years. But like, damn, this is hard to watch. I wonder if they're purposely using the most unfunny ones. Like maybe that's why. Like this is like a narrative. But like, damn, these are really not funny.
You know what comes next, friends? A tale as old as time. Cody Co became one of the many to follow the Viner to YouTuber pipeline, and in May of 2014, he uploaded his first video.
So, I asked some of you to ask me some questions, so like, I'm gonna answer them. Oh, there's no like lame-ass music in the background, I don't do that. This one says...
what iPhone is that?
Your Vines blow. Okay.
In the beginning, his channel included things like vlogs, story times, Q&A.
It's crazy that these videos have this many views. Like, Sam, I really am putting way too much effort in my YouTube career for like being this small. Like, I truly am.
Like all, you know, the kind of standard 2014 era YouTube material. By 2015, Cody was traveling to speak at online creator events, including VidCon and Playlist Live, which will become an important part of the story later. But since then, Cody's notoriety has like only grown massively. He's collaborated with a ton of other online personalities and comedians, including Drew Gooden, Emmett Chamberlain, and Joshua Weissman. He's even been featured on corporate channels like The Cut, Jubilee Media, and Delish. And it was in 2018 that Cody founded the TMG podcast, which is let me slip myself into my frat boy persona, Tiny Meat Gang podcast. You know, more of that boys will be boys humor. He did this alongside his friend Noel Miller,
There's 300
Canadian
episodes?
YouTuber and comedian, and today
They're Canadian? Where? Because that says a lot. Where exactly?
The MG podcast channel has over 1.2 million subscribers. They've been on tour across the US.
Wait, is Cody
and Cody
Canadian
has
or
since founded
American? I thought he was
TMG
American.
Studios, a podcast network that is home to 9 different shows, or maybe fewer. You'll
Don't say
find out
Toronto
at the end of
boy,
this. We also
please.
can't forget about Cody's illustrious
Cody's
acting
Canadian?
career. I'm sure all of you have seen the classic
Where?
series, The Real Bros of Simi Valley. No, you haven't seen. Good for you, honestly. But if you haven't seen it, Cody plays a frat bro type character named Wade.
Where the fuck are frats in Canada? Did he go to no, he must have went to American University. Cause like frat life is like not a thing around here as much. Alberta, I knew it. I knew it. Duke? Yeah, he went to Duke, right? That's that's in like the US. Bro, did he come from money? He had to have come from money early on. Like his parents must have been pretty well off to like afford going to like American uni. I mean, to be fair, Alberta's like pretty cheap, even more back then. So if his parents had like well off jobs, even like slightly well off, then he would have had money. Because like Alberta's still cheap now. He was a diver at Duke. You can find his picture on Google. Wow, he would come from Alberta. Anyways.
I know. Shocking. Now, let's review. So, podcaster, check. Actor,
oh, yeah, he was in sports.
Check. YouTuber, check. SoundCloud rapper,
show it
check.
to me, Rachel. Play it. I want to hear it.
But, you know, he has since transitioned his rap career into a stint as a DJ and now has a residency in Las Vegas.
Wait, what? He's a DJ in
Shittle Bits. I'm getting ahead of myself.
What?
So sorry. The thing is, Cody Co isn't just popular. He's massively successful and incredibly wealthy and very well known. And with that fame and money comes a lot of power. And he wore the mask well. Like his brand as a YouTube commentary creator was considered
he became
progressive
a DJ.
and lighthearted. But once you dig into his past, the pieces start to tell a different story. Cody probably thought that any scandals were far, far, far behind him. But all it took was one person to speak up, albeit many times, about Cody's past to make his fans reevaluate who he really might be. And that person is tanamongeau.
I know this sounds stupid and it's like I'm some big YouTuber and you honestly probably think that like your opinion, like your sole opinion doesn't matter to me. But when I'm at just a complete loss at a situation, the people I want to come to is you guys because you guys are my best friends, you guys are my family.
Yeah, the parasocial was real back then. She was young.
Honestly, tanamongeau doesn't need an introduction from me at all, but I will give a quick one. Tana is an American influencer who came to fame on YouTube and has over 5.3 million subscribers, which it's almost kind of shocking that it's not way, way, way more
The inventor
given
of
what a
truly the
household
bleach
name
tone.
she is like in the influencer world. Now, she's long since branched out from YouTube and her social stats are staggering with over 6 million Instagram followers, 8.5 on TikTok, and 2.5 on Twitter. Twitter. Like, she's basically impossible to miss when you're scrolling through your feed. Not to mention her chart-topping podcast called Cancelled. Like, the woman is literally everywhere and has been for a while, and she's still quite young.
Cancelled. Don't remember doing this at all. I can only hold myself accountable. Cancelled. Look how good my life is. So what else? Cancel me.
So since joining YouTube in 2015, Tana has collabed with James Charles, Jeffree Star, Nikita Dragon, Shane Dawson, and countless others.
Oh, what a great selection. Wow, truly the greatest selection of people there.
It's like, you know, the usually totally non-problematic highlight reel from the past, though things have shifted for her in recent years. She's grown quite a bit. But back in the early days of her YouTube channel, Tana became known for her wild storytime videos about her life growing up on the outskirts of Las Vegas, her boisterous personality, and often strong, sexual storytime themes, some of which involved a toothbrush, but also about the rough childhood she endured to the point where she's no longer on speaking terms with her biological parents. Tana has talked quite openly about some of the challenges she went through growing up in an unstable environment with her parents, who she describes as abusive, which is very sad to hear.
Where I lived the last like 5 years before growing up was just kind of like a ghettoer, cheaper area of like Henderson, Nevada, in this little like duplex with like my parents, and it was a 2-bedroom, and my parents wouldn't sleep in the same bed, so either my mom or my dad would like sleep on the couch every night, or I would sleep on the couch, and it was dirty and just ghetto, and like he still lives there. Like going there is just, that's a whole nother video within itself. But a lot of our neighbors were very like ghetto neighbors that would move in and out, like drug dealers, like all that kind of stuff.
My parents never like instilled anything that parents instill in you, like structure, responsibility, or schedule. I dropped out of high school at 15 because I couldn't even like go to school on time. Like so many of the mistakes I made in the beginning of my career were from lack of so many things.
I didn't even think that was like legal anymore, like in the States or like in Western like places. I thought like, don't they like come looking for you? I swear, like if you're not in school, if you don't show up, like I swear the government's like on top of you.
Like I needed, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like now I'm finally like hiring life coaches and learning that and like getting therapy and fixing. So if anything,
There was no obedience growing up?
No, I was rebelling against my parents like my entire life for sure. Because we just, I don't really ever remember getting along with my family. Maybe I was like at it's like 7 or 8 we got along type.
I don't really know how much of Tana's childhood is known by the, you know, the average viewer, but this is really sad and I think goes a long way to understanding more of the nuance and perspective around who she is and was from when she started gaining fame until now.
Hi, today's video is going to be the hardest video I've ever had to film.
Not to take away from the seriousness, but why is her hair 2 colors? Like, why is it yellowing on the way down? Like, what happened to the bleach and tone, babes? What happened to the tone?
As a kid, Tana had already been crashing with friends on and off by the time she was 14, but once she turned 15, she moved out of the house entirely and had essentially to fend for herself, which is heartbreaking when you just...
Wait, when did she start on YouTube?
And it takes a toll on one's mental development, but to be fair, also shows a lot of perseverance, I think. She talks about how she had trouble getting to school and even getting money to feed herself, which exposed Tana to a lot of vulnerable situations from a young age. Couple that with her meteoric rise on YouTube as a teen, which is a lot, and our understanding of the negative ramifications that can have on young child stars. And you know, I think it's safe to say it was a recipe for industry exploitation and also hyper sexualization. And her parents sort of seem to be okay with this.
No, I bitch. I'm sorry I'm rich and you're not.
Who is that?
They're watching the music video for Tana's song Hefner, as in
I
Hugh
never
Hefner,
watched
as in
this.
Playboy. And now I want to emphasize that this is not meant to shade Tana, but instead kind of peel back some of those layers that may have continually put her in harm's way and led to this sexualized persona, because this reputation was continually reinforced by her YouTube followers and the positive response she would get from these kinds of videos. Even when she was underage, like people online and in the industry didn't just crave this from her, they expected it, celebrated it, and at times demanded it. Now listen, I know full well from my experience as a musician that navigating the entertainment industry is challenging for an adult, never mind a 15-year-old girl. In my opinion, based on what Tana has shared, her parents' significant lack of care likely possibly forced her to grow up quickly, even though she was only a kid who couldn't be, really expected to always make the best decisions for herself.
So high that I can't feel the car moving, so high that it's moving. But anyways.
Guys, Helen would drive better.
And if that wasn't enough, while Tana was speaking out about the abuse she allegedly endured, her parents turned around and sued her for slander, their own daughter.
Like there was abuse.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it was a really traumatic.
Crazy. Absolutely.
But and so
I've said that before, and then I've been in court.
That's like the ultimate moment, and I'm sure chat will relate, but do you guys know, like, when you like try to like talk to your parents about things that they're doing that aren't okay, and like your mom will like pull the whole like, oh my god, so like I am like the worst mother ever, or like I should just go and like throw myself in traffic kind of shit. That's like, this is like a new level of that. That's a new level of gaslighting.
Having to almost pay millions of dollars for slander.
Really?
You can slander your parents?
I would just like to say, by the way, fuck H3, can't stand them.
Apparently.
Like, what damage are you going to do to them?
Yeah,
So are you going through litigation right now with your parents?
This was,
it's over.
This was like 3 years ago, probably.
And did you guys settle?
Yeah.
Now, when I watched that, like, Tana has always been outspoken. Like, she's clearly unsettled by all of this, which, I mean, who the wouldn't be? I mean, imagine the absolute crushing betrayal that this must have felt like to have your own parents using legal tactics to silence you until you have to pay up. Anyways, it's important to note that when Tana started her channel in 2015, she was just 16 years old, and based on her stories, she had experienced more wild and intense scenarios at her age than most people do in their like entire lives. Like, for example, in one of her more infamous video series, Tana reveals that she had a stalker since she was just 8 years old.
In elementary school, or at my elementary school at least, the
I think I
teacher on
remember
the first day of
this.
school would give you a list of all of the home phone numbers of every family in your classroom. And you would go home and give it to your parents so that they had the contacts of every parent in case they needed it. And everyone took them home to their parents like normal, except for this one kid. Hint, he's my stalker. I started getting phone calls to my house every day, and it would be this little boy, and obviously I'm not going to say his name because I want to live until I'm like, old.
Oh no.
So it'd be this boy. And he would call my house phone, and my parents would pick up because I was like a child, So they'd be like, hello, and then he'd be like, hey, can I talk to Tana? Like, it's about the homework. And then I'd answer, and he'd be like, I love you. I love you. I love you, Tana. I love you. And I'd be like, boys have cooties, bye. Like, nah. Yeah, okay, And he wouldn't stop calling.
Imagine handling that at just 8 years old, and also not potentially having the support of adults in your life to take it seriously. The stalker saga has actually been going on for years, with Tana providing occasional video updates on her channel, which is
even now
wild if you like really think about it.
I started getting all of these anonymous messages on Tumblr, and the first message was my address, but they like made a riddle out of it, and the answer to the riddle was like my address.
Oh, that's so creepy.
And I was like, what the f? So I was with friends when I got that, so I called my dad, and I was like, and while I'm on the phone with my dad, I get a message that is my dad's full name, like first, middle, and last name. And I was like, this is so sketch. Like, what the f? And so I stay on the phone.
I hate riddles, I'd
cry. Know what? I think I'm gonna go visit my grandma, and I'm not gonna say where she lives, but she lives in another state, and I was gonna go visit her to get out of town for a little bit and like lay low so I didn't die because my stalker was really sketching me out. And after I said that on the phone, my stalker or whoever sends me a message on Tumblr that was my grandma's home phone number in like 3 messages. So I filed a police report, and then the police get involved, and
was her room like bugged?
It was my stalker from 2nd grade. Are you in shock? Because me too, I was so shocked. And so he got arrested, and he is now in jail. Ha 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 ha. So I got my stalker arrested. I know, I'm a great person.
Now, I'm not going to dwell much on this today, but yes, Tana herself has a legitimately problematic past that I've even touched upon in a video a long time ago. And she wouldn't argue that. She has openly said that she understands that she has had problematic past, that she's controversial, that people had rightfully called for accountability from various things from her. And I mean, she even talks about how she has difficulty getting people on her podcast now because of these things. So this isn't some like scandalous thing that I'm saying.
First and foremost, I want to apologize for how long this video has taken. There is no excuse excuse, reason, or thing I could say to make that okay, and I want to take full accountability for that. Over the past few months, I've seen the explosive effects of what running from your problems can do and how many people you can hurt by doing that.
But the reason I'm bringing this up briefly is because it's an important factor in the concept of the perfect victim narrative that has plagued this story, which we're going to dig into. But I do want to highlight off the top that the experiences we have as kids very clearly shape our development as we get older, and I think you'll see this a lot in Tana's story. We know that people can change. I have to hope that people can change, and I do believe it's important to give people the space to grow and unlearn harmful behaviors if they genuinely seek to do so, especially if some of those behaviors were when they were kids, you know? So I won't be taking a stance today on the controversies of Tana's past because I don't want that to potentially overshadow the focus here of what was done to her. Kind of in a similar way that I took no position on Trisha's past when we covered the Colleen Ballinger story and the fact that Trisha was clearly victimized by Colleen Ballinger and John Thomas, because again, two things can be true at once. Someone can have a past and they can also be a victim of terrible things. By 2016, Tana had reached 2 million subscribers on YouTube, and along with that success came public appearances where she began traveling to various online creator events, and it was in April of 2016 that she attended Playlist Live Orlando, which, if you remember from earlier, are a SoundCloud rapper, Bad Boy Frody, I mean Cody, was also invited to attend, as well as our perfect witness, Gabby Hanna, which, holy we'll be getting to that twisted mess in a bit. So let's recap. Cody Co, former Vine star turned commentary YouTuber with the frat boy pride. Tanamongeau, influencer, YouTuber, and podcaster with a difficult childhood, a history of being forced to grow up too soon, who is processing a lot of trauma in real time for the world to see. And like many podcasts with a large following, if you fast forward, Tana and Brooke have taken their show on the road and announced the canceled cross-country tour. This was their opportunity to meet the fans and share, quote, everything we'd normally cut out of the podcast. So guaranteed there would be some tea spilling, and if the people are thirsty, you give them a sip. So the canceled tour specified that filming was not allowed during the show, trying to ensure that they could protect any reveals from Tana and Brooke during these shows, but I don't think anyone could have predicted just how intense things were about to get. On May 30th, Tana and Brooke stopped on another leg of the tour.
I did not realize that this came out during the tour.
At the Crest Theater in Sacramento, California. A portion of the show includes something that they call the hot seat, where they allow fans to come up and ask Tana rapid fire questions that can be extremely scandalous.
Least favorite city I've been to on tour, New Orleans, Louisiana. I hate that place. Who's the most famous person you've ever had sex with? Oh my God, like maybe Tyga. Least favorite brand I've ever worked with. One time, we sold out for an apartment in New York. Like the rent was paid on the apartment in New York for a Juul charger that charged your Juul from your phone. Like that sounds brilliant. No, it was definitely breaking iPhones everywhere, and I shouldn't have done it. Who's the smallest dick you've ever had sex? Oh my God, did no one look at me? Cody Co.
Oh no, not only was it an expose on the hookup, it was an expose on the dick size. That's crazy. That's like genuinely, I don't think she likes him. I'm assuming, well, rightfully so, but like I'm assuming she like hates his guts. Probably because of her now being older and realizing like that she's like, I was literally 17. This is so much already.
Wait a minute.
Even her friend was like, stop.
That? I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that.
17. And Cody was how old? Okay, let me just do the math for you. 25. He was 25. Now, she doesn't say it during the live event, but the video quickly picked up steam online and viewers started doing the math. And I want to reiterate that although Tana chose to share these comments during the canceled live event, I don't necessarily think that she expected it to spread so far beyond that room at the time. Like, you can hear other people
long ago
saying
was this
delete
clip?
their videos of the hot seat portion. So there were videos that weren't technically supposed to exist anyways, but also let's be honest, it's virtually impossible to prevent everyone from filming at a live show.
And it's a live
sure,
event.
it's all said and done in a lighthearted, joking kind of way.
I think it's also just like the way, at least the way I am, is I'm very like, I joke about things. Like I say things in a very flippant manner, and like even just in my real life, like if I'm just chilling with you, I'll say the most traumatizing, like crack a joke, and that's just always A, how I've coped, but B, just how I am about a lot of things. I'm a pretty unserious person, and I think in serious situations that like bites me in the ass because then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, why were you joking about it on stage in Sacramento, California, Tana? But like, here we are.
But I don't think Tana was trying to launch some controversy or direct accusations against Cody. But oh, how things can change.
We thought we could trust the people as we had the whole tour. Because it really was, like at every other show, we were saying the craziest about people, and it wasn't being brought to light. And however, I understand that this isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Yeah.
And sidebar, just because like I can't not ask because I don't know. This is completely unrelated to the situation, but from what I've been able to find, it seems like some of these shows at venues are all ages. Like does anybody watching this right now know to verify? Like I obviously haven't been to a show, and obviously people aren't supposed to film, so I actually have no idea like what they talk about in the show. So I'm not gonna make any assumptions here, but like, has anyone watching been to an
Just got our tickets for the new tour, and I'm 17. Some places say the event is all ages. Mine doesn't, and it says 18 plus. Oh. I mean, they're talking about dick, so take that as you will.
An actual show? I am so curious to understand. And are these shows all ages, or like do you actually
Probably
need like
not.
a 18 and up ID to get in? Like, I'm just wondering, were children present when people are asking about like dick size? Are we okay?
Probably.
Are parents there? Okay, anyways, one thing at a time. Now, it's not a secret that Tana and Cody knew each other. They've appeared in each other's videos a few times over the years, but going back through the timeline, it's clear that Tana was actually a fan of Cody well before her YouTube days, tweeting things like, "I love you, Cody Co." in October 2014 when Tana was 16 and Cody was 23, or like, "I wish Cody Co was my BFF." And later in May 2015, Tana tweeted, "Cody won't love me," just a month before she turned 17. Cody was 24. And she's continued to be a fan of Cody from 2018 when Tana was 20, Cody was 28. If you don't like Cody Co's YouTube videos, I literally cannot like you. Taking a look back at some of Tana's Twitter feeds circa 2014 where Tana was 16 years old, it's clear that she like idolized Cody, right? And it's not hard to see why. Like, Cody was a charming, conventionally attractive, recent college guy who was gaining a large following on Vine with his sketch videos, and she was basically still a kid, just hyping up her favorite content creators, all shortly before she became a YouTuber herself.
It is, I definitely am like, what?
I wouldn't say he's attractive either, like, but I wouldn't say he's ugly. I would say he's average, like, in my opinion. But he's not like a model. I think he's just like an average, like literally probably the textbook definition of an average white guy. Like, literally, like textbook definition. Average white guy is like, so, it's like painfully exactly.
Why was he doing that? You know what I mean? Because I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and a fan, and like, and I understand that that's
But you know what? He has like the funny dude thing, even though like, you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. His Vine era was like not that funny, at least from those clips, but like he's definitely like had funny moments. I don't think he's like the funniest person ever, but I guess he has that like funny dude buff, like where like when a guy's like more like, you know, well, I think that's just like a thing in general with like people. Like usually people find people who are like humorous or like more charming, like you kind of get like a buff. You go from like a 5 to like a 7 or an 8. Yeah. I feel like that's probably at play.
Now as a grown adult, you can say you were taken advantage of.
The thing that gets me is that Cody literally knew
he knew
that Tana was a fan of his. And then in May 2016, Tana tweets out a new YouTube video titled "The shittiest video ever" featuring Cody Ko.
What's up, guys? It's tanamongeau, and I'm here with Tana. Not gonna laugh at my jokes this time.
Video.
Now the camera's on, you're not gonna laugh at my jokes.
Don't check out his channel. I'm literally not even gonna link it, but like, you're gonna have to Google his name, which I'm not even gonna tell you. That's gonna get bleeped.
So wait, is this before or after the incident? Like, when does this video happen? It's been over a month since he posted on YouTube. Yeah, he's gone like radio silent since this blew up.
I don't believe it.
Now, if first impressions mean anything, then they appeared to be, you know, two people who were quite comfortable in each other's presence. And something to note, they're not explicit about how they came to meet or really even why they're collabing on a video together. In the video, they say it was a suggestion through their management teams, but then they laughed that off as a joke. So the next question is, how did Cody and Tana first meet in person? Well, I've done my best to try to piece together a timeline and leave something in the comments as to if you found something else, but all evidence points to Tana and Cody crossing paths during Playlist Live Orlando in April of 2016. We know Cody attended Playlist Live Orlando from multiple interviews and appearances that he made at the event and his own 2016 recap video.
Flew to Orlando for Playlist Live, got a private tour of Universal, which was cool because, you know, the whole no lines thing, but Orlando sucks ass, so why do people go there?
And tanamongeau also attended Playlist Live Orlando that year when Tana was, say it with me now, 17 years old. And then a few weeks later on May 13th, we get Tana's collab video with Cody, which would give us the greatest hit.
So the collab video came out after, theoretically, the incident. Oh, this is interesting.
It's like Cody being mesmerized by Tana's derrière as she walks off.
Check me out on YouTube.
Oh!
And Tana's...
Like, it's so obvious. Wait, what? Is she still 17 in this video? Not that it really matters because he's already, like, apparently done the crime. Go back.
As she walks off.
Check me out on YouTube.
But it's literally so obvious. Like, bro, what?
And Tana's edit shading Cody and his tiny meat gang.
I'm like really small, I'm like really small, I'm like really small, I'm like really small. But I'm still so like compelled by myself on that screen.
Anyways.
Oh, that's crazy.
We also know that both of them later attended the Playlist Live DC event in 2016. And a few months later, another collab video between Cody and Tana appeared, this time on Cody's channel titled Cringing at My Very First Vines with tanamongeau.
These are so bad.
I'm honestly so surprised that he's like letting me be in this video. Like, I'm so happy.
I'm sorry that we all had to see that. Now, in the recent weeks following the leaked video from her podcast tour, Tana has addressed the allegations several times, starting with her appearance on the Just Trish podcast on June 20th, 2024.
But I'm sure you experienced this a lot with David. I was talking about this yesterday as well, but like the difference in when you're coming for someone or just telling the truth about someone. I don't even want to say coming for someone.
Right.
When you're telling the truth about someone and they're a well-liked person versus a not well-liked person.
Yeah.
Because it's like when they're not a well-liked person, like everyone's like, they're so down to get on that bandwagon and be like them. But like if you're saying like something happened with a well-liked person, it's crazy the way it can be like they see you.
Now, Tana holds back on the details here, but I think it's clear that this has been affecting her. Cody Ko has an extremely large fan base and also a large female fan base, and Tana's reputation hasn't exactly been flawless. I mean, no one's has. And these allegations are things that could have repercussions on her career and public perception simply because of the unfavorable way that the public often responds to accusers when the accused is a popular public figure.
I would just like to say, by the way, the amount of men on Twitter that have come out and tried to defend this whole situation. Like, babes, this is not like Romeo Juliet law bullshit. Like 25 is way past that age demographic, babes. Like, also, I think any normal 25-year-old would genuinely even kind of be icked out by thinking of hooking up with an 18 or 19-year-old. I just want to say that. Like, most people who are like in their mid-20s or like even 23-year-olds think about someone of that age and are like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, if for 18 and 19-year-olds, it's giving Sunday VA defending It really is, though, on Twitter.
Dan, yeah, and then when it flips too, because that happened with me with David, right? He was so loved, so then everyone hated me, and then the minute like other stuff coming out, like other people started saying stuff, it was almost like, oh, Trisha's right, she's been saying this all along, you know what I mean? Which is like fine, and then when that happens, it feels like good, but it does take a minute for it to come out. Or the stuff with Colleen, right? Like, I mean, I feel like Adam talked about it for so long, and no one was like, I didn't know what was happening, no one was taking it seriously, and then other stuff starts coming out, and you're just like, oh my god, like this person's kind of like a person. Maybe what he was saying, there is some like truth to it.
Just one day later, on June 21st,
I think they changed the voice volumes on the clip so YouTube's auto checker, because YouTube will check like the video to see if you're copying someone else's video necessarily, like won't ding it. I'm assuming that's why.
Anna and Brooke released episode 88 of the canceled podcast, and at the end of the episode, Tana more thoroughly addresses the comments she made about Cody Co during the live show.
I've tried to talk about this a million times, and I feel like I never have the right words. But it's everywhere all over the internet, and I know people want me to talk about it, and I'm gonna do my best right now, you know? I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25. Yeah, it happened. And I think that I'm trying to think about it from a perspective of like a younger sister or someone that I really care about. Even the other day, like I was texting just about her life and everything that's going on in her life right now, and I thought to myself, like, how protective I was over her, especially before she was 18. And if something like that was happening to her, I would never let it fly.
And there it is. Tana alleges that she had S with Cody Co when she was 17 and he was 25. And Tana...
Also, I think it's so nasty. I'm gonna be so real, and I know this is like a thing, but genuinely, people that go to like TwitchCon, Playlist Live, like whatever the fuck, YouTubeCon as creators, with like the idea in their head of like getting some like puss or dick or whatever, are so fucking weird. Like, genuinely so weird. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Like, because I feel like it does happen a lot. Like a lot of these situations seem to revolve around that. And like, if you're a content creator, like, usually when you're going to these situations, like, shouldn't you just be excited to be there and like meet people? Like, why does that always come into the equation? Especially when in these situations there's so many people of varying levels of like fame, success, whatever, and like you don't know how situations are being perceived. You don't know like who is being nice to you or genuinely might like you. I don't know, like regardless of the age situation. Let's not even talk about the age problem because that gets rid of everything. But let's say like fully legal situations here. It's still dangerous, like, and like such a like bad idea, because it is so easy for situations to be misconstrued and people to be like, well, I was just being nice to you because I just want to like have a good network connection with you or whatever it is. But then all of a sudden you're in this gross, weird situation where someone is like knows the right people or knows like a lot of the brands or companies, even if you are like similar level creator wise. It's so easy for these like imbalances and improper situations to occur that I'm like, don't know why anybody thinks that's a good idea. It is a quick way to like create a messy ass fucking situation. Like, yeah, like the power dynamics are just like so all over the place, and like there's just too much going on. And like also even with fans, like we've all heard it, like situations of parties happening and somehow fans getting invited or showing up. No. Zero. Zip. No. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Thankfully, I am not at that like level really where like I have to worry about that in any degree. Like, I don't think I have, like, this, like, fever or fanship of me in any regard. But I just don't know why people think that's a good idea. And I feel like it is so predatory because it seems like when you sit here outside of the moment, it seems so easy to, like, avoid that situation completely, and why it would be so, like, wrong. Like, no, like, absolutely not. Don't even get yourself into the situation. And yet it constantly happens somehow.
Is very self-aware when it comes to her reputation and the situation as a whole, but is clearly still processing what happened, which, like, of course she is. Based on what she's intimated, her circumstances caused her to really downplay the potential trauma she went through and how she doesn't currently consider herself to be a victim, which is, just so you know, why I'm going to be placing that in quotes as much as I can today.
I don't know how to put this without, because I'm not trying to diminish anyone else's anything and anything else. Like,
No,
you
of
know,
course not. And this is your own experience,
But if I were to
too.
sit here and be like, I'm a victim and this was so horrible and oh my God, I'm so traumatized and oh my God, like whatever, like I don't feel that way.
But then
I just know it was wrong and he was wrong.
Yeah, and I also think if you did sit here and you said all that, then it is just kind of discrediting people who really do feel like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's like...
I feel like that's very fair for her to say, and not to get personal into my stuff, because I don't think I ever want to get personal with my own situations. I will just say this. There are a lot of situations where I was younger, like even before 17. And I would definitely say there were things that, like, happened to me that were definitely, like, illegal, that, like, other people should definitely be in jail for without going into detail about it. And I would kind of feel like in the same situation as Tana, where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would necessarily call myself a victim. But I also don't know if that's because so much of my development as I've gotten older has literally been about moving past all of that stuff to, like, go beyond it, like, in that way. And I'm sure the same thing happened with Tana. Like, can you imagine going through, like, blowing up online, and let's be so real here. Tana blew up at 16 and 17. Do you think that her entire timeline was not filled with disgusting men who were 18, 19, 20, 24, 30, who would make the most derogatory, disgusting, fucked up comments about her? Like, no, she's seen it all. She's truly seen it all. And what I really think is happening to Tana when she really thinks about it is there have been so many shitty things that probably have happened to her that I can, like, relate to in some way, that the only way your brain was able to, like, move past and, like, get through and not just, like, completely, like, break you down mentally is by basically, like, taking the situation and making it, like, not affect you. And being like, I don't want this to, like, bring me to that, because if it did, I don't know how I'm going to do XYZ, whether it's be successful, continue with my day, breathing, whatever it is. Like, and I think that is a huge thing at play. Like, sometimes, even though it might not be the most traumatic things, like, when you really look back at it, you'll kind of see how your development of who you are, the person you are today, is shaped by so much of it that you didn't even realize. Like, so much of your unconsciousness of as you're growing up and, like, going past, like, 18, 19, 20, all the way to 25, you don't even realize the things that have, like, affected you to make you the person you are right now. And the only time you'll know is when you truly sit down and really self-analyze, and then you'll start seeing, like, wait, why am I this way? Like, why do certain things bother me? Why do I react in certain ways to stuff? Why am I very defensive in certain things, or whatever it might be? And then you'll slowly realize, oh, this is all these things that I've blocked out but shaped all these stuff. So yeah. Trust me, I think genuinely, from my experience of growing up at a very similar time period as Tana. How old is Tana right now? I actually think we might be very close in age. Oh, Tana is literally, like, 2 years younger than me. So we, like, might as well be the same fucking age. Tana is literally 26 right now, and I'm turning 28. So we're, like, she's 98, 1998, I'm 96, for anyone that did not know my age. So I know the time period that Tana grew up in, and she was just a little bit younger than me. And we were in an age of the internet that was very uncontested, untested, unknown. I will, like, without going into detail, I will, like, tell you that, like, the internet, like, took advantage of, like, me, like, as a kid. Like, there were just places I shouldn't have been, people I shouldn't have been talking to. The app, like, Kick, for instance, should not have been on my phone. And I think maybe in 10 years from now, 5, 10, 15 years from now, there will be a deep dive of this age of the internet, and people will truly realize how many, like, innocent young people got, like, taken advantage of. Like to the point where, like, it might as well be, like, an epidemic of that. Like, I almost think the statistics of it are truly, like, so staggeringly disgusting of how many, like, people have dealt with this kind of stuff that no one wants to talk about it, because it's like, if we really are real about the internet, if we really are realistic about it, it is way, 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 way worse than anyone wants to really admit. And, like, should probably be, like, changed or regulated to some degree, because it's just so bad. So, yeah. I think it's something, I think eventually this conversation will happen in the limelight of the media, and, like, will be a thing that is dealt with. I think there's just too many other crazier things happening right now with, like, climate change. Like, there's just so much going on that there's not enough room for this conversation. Like, exactly, like, think about Telegram right now and everything going on in, like, Korea and all that kind of stuff. Like, all of that is happening now, and probably happened, if not worse, beforehand. Because there was even less internet safety talk when I was a kid. Anyone that's, like, around my age, and I don't want to know your age in chat, but I bet you right now, none of us knew anything. There was no talk when I was, like, 13, 14, 15, 16 about internet safety. It maybe as I'm hitting maybe the, like, late teens, but at that point it's like, babes, it's too late. I've been traumatized. None. And, like, parents weren't involved. I know some parents were, and I'm glad, and I'm not gonna, like, shit on my own parents for that. Like, my parents were like, first generation immigrants. My dad barely even knew how to work an iPhone, and barely does know now. And also, like, this goes back to, like, capitalism and all this, and I sound like a total socialist, but, like, how are your parents supposed to care about their kids if, like, they have to work 2 jobs to just put food on the table? And, like, we can get into that, but, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the way society is set up is just truly for exploitation in all regards. Like, you know, like, your parents are so tired that they can barely put food, like, on the table and cook a meal, and yet they're expected to, like, sit there and, like, monitor you and all this kind of stuff, because capitalism sucks for everybody. Like, there maybe, like, are a few kids that obviously had parents that were a lot more, like, parental control and all that, who were, like, interested in tech maybe. My parents weren't. And, like, I definitely ended up getting taken advantage of in a multitude of situations by, like, people that were, like, way, way, way older than me. I'm gonna be so real. The literal only person that knows about this is, like, my sister and my boyfriend. A person that abused me when I was, I think, 15 or 16 reached out to me like 3 or 4 months ago. Shit you not. And I think that was the mental awakening of me coming to terms with, like, oh, this, like, was a thing that happened to me. Like, I definitely buried it and wasn't thinking about it, wasn't, like, moved on with my life, whatever, out of thought, out of mind. Knew it happened, but was, like, not dealing with it, not thinking about the repercussions in any way. And the email that they reached out to me has been my email since I was, like, in high school or whatever. And I don't know, I think the creepiest thing was, like, them reaching out to me now, because I'm like, 1, the fact you still have this email, but 2, what the fuck are you thinking about right now? I can't even begin to tell you the level of disgust I felt reading that message, because I'm like, genuinely, why am I on your brain right now? Like, genuinely. I didn't reply because I was really creeped out, to be honest. Like, I was just like, I don't want to reply. Like, I'd rather just act like this email's dead. Because I don't want this to continue in any regard. I wanted to honestly, like, reply, to be like, do you remember, like, the situation? Because actually, hilariously, because the email came through as a reply, or like, I don't know the way Hotmail's set up. I saw the previous thread of emails. And it was a Cody Co situation where they fully knew my age. Fully. Like, in the email, when you scroll up, you can see my, like, I tell the guy my age. And he's like, I don't, like, and he, like, doesn't care. And I'm just like, I'm a child. Genuinely a child at that age. And I know when you look back, and I'm sure Tana obviously had a really bad experience, like, with her parents and all that kind of stuff. And I knew where I was mentally at that age. I was, like, not in a good place, going through a lot of it. And I can go back and now, being my age now of 20, almost 8, be like, oh, I know why I put myself in these situations. Like, I know why I went through with them. But I'm not going to blame myself, because that would be fucked to blame the 15-year-old for those situations. Do you know what I mean? When there was a full-grown-ass adult on the other side that knew exactly what they were doing, had their whole frontal lobe developed, and knew very much it was illegal. So, yeah, it's just so crazy. And I really hope that one day society does have a conversation about, like, the internet and how awful it can be and how easy it is for, like, people to, like, get taken advantage of. Like, I really think it's not something that's talked about enough. Anyways, sorry. I never honestly thought I would ever talk about that. So, did not mean to dump that all on you, but I just feel like I don't want anyone to come at Tana for not, like, labeling herself a victim, because I get that feeling.
You're making it into something that's not for yourself.
She does intimate how she's learning that the encounter with Cody and the industry placed her in scenarios that were not age appropriate and forced her to grow up way sooner than a kid should have to, which is very common, honestly, for people who have lived through SA or exploitation.
If we have time after this video, I think you should watch a video by Rosanna. Is that her name, Rosanna? Covering the Mr. Beast games. I actually do know some of that situation. Like, I've been trying to keep up with it, and I do know the whole Rosanna thing. I want to watch it. I don't know if we'll have time today, but I'm down to watch it, like, at some point soon, for sure. If we don't watch it today, like, I want to.
At a young age, like, I can testify to that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's honestly disgusting, and I also think when you're that age, you think you know everything, and you think you're way more mature than you actually are.
Oh, yeah.
And then from our age now, we can look at it in hindsight's 2020, and it's like, oh my God, you were a child.
Yes.
You were young.
I think a lot of things like that happened to me as well, because I really did have to grow up severely at a really young age.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, by the time I was 16, I truly was just like, even when it came down to knowledge and wisdom and everything, I was a 21-year-old.
You were forced to grow up so early.
And because of that, a lot of ended up happening to me that probably shouldn't
Well,
have happened.
you felt that way at that age. You definitely weren't. And I will say that too. Like, when I was 17, 16, I felt like I was, like, the most mature person ever. Like, had, like, older friends, whatever. Which I think came with, like, honestly being one of, like, the more, like, older people in my family in terms of, like, my generation. Like, I was, like, the oldest sibling. All of the, like, younger people of my cousins were all way younger than me, like, by, like, 6 years. So, like, I was very much, like, on my own. And of course, at that age, when you're freaking 15, 16, 17, you're like, oh yeah, like, I'm an adult. I can do my own things. I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. I'm like, sure, you can make, like, argument for yourself of, like, oh, maybe you were a little bit more mature than the people around you, but you were definitely not mature enough to be in that situation. Nor can you even have the maturity. Maturity doesn't matter in a situation like that, like, at all.
To take this even further, in the podcast episode releasing on July 25th, Tana pulls up her old Twitter DMs with Cody that include messages dating back to when she was just 16 years old.
Oh,
meaning
so they
relationship
so they talked before they even met in person.
Started to some capacity long before Playlist Live.
It also just wasn't like one time. Like I hooked up with Cody so many times across the years that it's like if I have to like, the thing is I don't have the old phone. Like I like want to go find my old phone or old whatever like to gather more. What if I just went to my Twitter DMs with him to see if they still exist from when I was like literally a baby child? Let's see. Brother. And I was just such a fan. That's like the sad part, is it's like definitely an abuse of power.
Now, we don't know the content of these messages, and maybe we never will, but Tana said it best. It was an abuse of power. She was a fan and new to the industry, and a large creator was giving her attention. They began messaging almost a full year before meeting in person, and as you saw from the clip, it was a lot of messages. And not to mention the age gap, an 8-year difference. And
what are you genuinely though? Like, what are you talking about? Like, genuinely, because he's like maybe 24, 25 at that age. Like, what do you have in common with a 16-year-old other than you both making YouTube videos? Like, this wasn't like a one-time like conversation where Tana's like, oh, I'm a huge fan, and he's like, oh, thanks for watching the video, yada yada yada, done. What do you have to talk about that requires that many messages? Like, other than YouTube stuff. And, like, if you want to talk YouTube stuff, fair enough, but why are you talking to the 16-year-old? Like, I know he had other creator friends that were more close to his age. So, like, why? When did Cody get married? I actually have no idea.
And an even bigger maturity gap from your late teens to your mid-20s. And although, honestly, I'm not sure mature is the word that comes to mind when I think of Cody Co in that era.
What up? Blaze here, 33, and I f***ing hate babies.
And the thing is, Cody can't really make excuses about not understanding the problem between the age and what's going on. Like, he literally tweeted this, quote, "To everyone inviting me to prom or winter formal, I am 25 years old." That tweet was from back in January of 2016, just a few months before he met Tana at Playlist Live Orlando, and 4 months before they would appear in one of Tana's vlogs. Maybe Cody doesn't want to go to the prom, but based on his alleged actions, it seems like he would still consider going home with the prom queen. So again, let's consider Tana's perspective.
She kind of gagged me on that line, can't lie. She kind of gagged me on that line. Oh.
Here, you're 17, bright-eyed, thinking about your blossoming future. People are showering attention on you. You look up to this famous internet guy, and maybe you want to impress him. Maybe he says nice things to you.
Your
life is surrounded by grown adults hyping.
Like, no video, no tweet, no nothing. Like, there's nothing. I'm depressed. Okay. Well, at least you're not Cody Co. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
You up in the same industry, and in your still developing kid brain, you think, OMG, my favorite influencer likes me. This is amazing. I'll do what he says. Surely he's not a f***ing creep. And if we consider Cody's potential perspective, you're a super successful grown adult influencer. You're making big money. Everyone wants to be you. Women are throwing themselves at you flirtatiously, and you see this young girl who's captivated by you. You know she looks hella young. You're even warned, and you think, holy shit, let me cut this off right now with the handshake and a goodbye and make sure your parents know where you are. Right, Cody?
Like,
but
even
back
after
to the
that
story.
one
Remember
time
how I
after
said that
it
there
came
was
out?
something twisted in the air? Well, there was a witness, a perfect witness, who has been celebrated and praised for her handling of the Playlist Live situation. Her name, Gabby Hanna. But there's actually potentially more to Gabby Hanna's involvement.
Sorry, she's a perfect witness? Because I feel like people, this is my problem. I'm not saying that she was like didn't do anything wrong, but like I felt like Gabby Hanna was like one of the worst options, because I feel like people aren't going to take her seriously, even though this could be totally a valid thing that she's saying, which I do believe it is. I don't know why she would not, like, I don't know why she would lie. But like I feel like Gabby Hanna, like, it kind of sucks that it is her, because so many people are going to just write it off because they think she's fucking insane. Though I'm pretty sure she talked about this before. I swear she did, and that's why people, I think it's like very creditable. Yeah, like before the allegation even blew up.
Here than most people have been discussing or noticing, and if it's true, it gets much, much darker than ever imagined.
When did the Gabby Hanna thing come out? When did she even talk about it?
Gabby Hanna, another former Vine star and controversial internet personality known for her YouTube channel, music career, and this.
Bullies. These are bullies.
Regardless of your opinions of her, Gabby had an undeniable reach with her following of more than 5.6 million YouTube subscribers, a similar size to Cody Co. And while Gabby has been known to struggle with her mental health, which we will not be making light of, and had more than her share of cancelable moments, she's seemingly pivoted away from, I don't know, trolling the internet in favor of pursuing her music career as, I believe, a Christian music
everyone collabed with Tana.
So with that in mind, that's where she is currently, and these things about Gabby are things that came from the past. So this is not things about Gabby that just happened currently. So I think that's important to keep in mind because she may have grown and changed. But from what I can uncover, it was Tana who first named Gabby Hanna as a witness to the Cody situation during an episode of the canceled podcast, and the most well-known clip was from a recent episode. But it actually dates back further.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then we still went and hooked up.
There's actually more allegations made in this part of the story about Gabby Hanna, many of which seem to be kind of hiding in plain sight, but very few people are talking about it, you know, given the rightful frustration over Cody Co. So I decided to do some more digging because if these allegations are true, I think it paints a complex story of Gabby's actual involvement in a much more concerning light that may involve Gabby attempting to exploit Tana's trauma to mask her own problematic image at the time. Now, just a heads up, much of this is speculation at this point, and I think it would be fair to hear Gabby.
YouTube is genuinely the wild, wild west. Genuinely. Like, there will never be, like, it is the most, like, unhinged but in your face. I feel like Hollywood, just so I want to say, is exactly like this. Like, just it's behind the scenes, like, because there's so much money, like, that everything can be buried, like, you only get what you're gonna get, what the PR wants you to get. But YouTube is like the Hollywood without the money. Well, there's money now, but do you know what I mean? You're so wrong for pausing your face like that. She has much worse stills, much worse. This is one of her better stills. Gabby Hanna has much worse angles, and they're all over the YouTube video thumbnails. I am doing her a favor.
Gabby out on this. I don't think she'll speak on it, but it would be fair. So I'm just asking questions. While we do have some other corroborating evidence, most is just hearsay, and therefore this is just alleged. Most everyone by now is familiar with the old dug-up clip heard around the world thanks to D'Angelo Wallace's powerful call-out video titled An Uncomfortable Conversation About Cody Co., where he played a clip of Gabby Hanna talking about how she witnessed an adult YouTuber making out with an underage girl, and that Gabby Hanna came to the rescue, warning him that the girl was underage and that he ignored the warning and, quote, effed her that night.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
Now, D'Angelo's
even the way she said the reply of like, oh, like, thank you, sounds like the way Cody Co talks. That's crazy. That, like, she kind of like mimicked his like whatever like the phrases, but like his like style of talking.
His breakdown of the situation is spot on, as one would expect.
You really
because
never know what
Wallace
the
is a
tea
fantastic
really
creator,
is,
and his video will be linked in the
this.
description along again with some other creators. But his video posted on July 14th brought what Tana experienced and the harm of Cody Co. even further into the general consciousness of the internet, and national news outlets started covering it even more than they had, generating way more discussion than ever before.
These recent allegations are bad enough on their own, but there are a couple of things that make them worse still. Things that many people people don't know yet, but you do. You know that Tana has been making the same specific claim against you for years now. Here she is back in 2021 saying the same thing.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kaylin, shout out Cody.
But did you know that back on August 5th of 2021, almost 3 years ago to the date of me filming this, a commentary creator by the name of Repzilla, who currently has around 287,000.
I don't know how they get all this footage and like pieces together. Like genuinely, I'm assuming Swoop has a team of like, I don't know, investigators per se. The way that they find and are able to like track a story from like so many different angles and be like, this is someone talking about it, this is someone talking about it, like this is also someone mentioning it briefly, is insanity. But it honestly, it's so good because it goes to show like it brings more reputability to Tana. Because, like, look, there are clearly people that knew something happened. Like, this isn't just coming out of fucking nowhere.
Subscribers made a video titled, Gabby Hanna Tried to Sell Tana's Trauma.
During the podcast, Trisha Paytas and Tana bonded over their mutual dislike of Gabby Hanna, but then the conversation turned to a pretty strange point where Tana said that there was one person during this show that was older than her. At the time, she was about 17 years old, and this person was much older and made advances towards Tana that were inappropriate.
I don't know if I was 17 or 18. I was like on the brink, but I was at a playlist live and they were like trying to with me. And it's something I never even like thought of again. You know what I mean? It was just like, and obviously it was like an older guy and whatever, but I mean, we're friends now. And like, obviously I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. It's entire, but I don't know if I was 17 or 18. And I don't know if anything so bad ever happened to where it's like condemning them. It was more just like a,
And see, it's interesting that she says in this clip that they're friends now, because it makes even a more sense of her kind of like, not like, I don't want to say defending him, but she's kind of like, and maybe she's just not thinking about it as much, being like, I don't know what the age was, it's not a big deal. Like, she's obviously downplaying it a lot. So I think that's like really interesting.
A flirty weird encounter or whatever.
And in this video from 2021, Repzilla plays the very same clip that D'Angelo also dug up, which also potentially means other creators had also posted this clip in 2021. I just haven't seen those if they exist.
Dude, one time I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage. Watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
Now remember,
that's insane to think also, like Gabby Hanna at the time was still pretty big. So it's like so clear that like Cody Co is playing this like stupid ass game of like, he literally like basically flat out lies to Gabby the way he like replies, being like, oh thanks, like I didn't know. And then, like, literally goes and sleeps with her. Like, that's a whole nother level. Like, you're, like, now fully lying to somebody. Like, you're playing this, like, facade. And, like, fully bullshitting to someone's face. Who, at the end of the day, she said that they were already making out. So, red flag. And, like, he's still...
No one knew at the time that Cody Co was allegedly the one that Gabby was referring to. But in Repzilla's video, he details an alarming story about how Gabby may have tried to sell the story of what happened to Tana, aka Tana's trauma, to Business Insider, or also known as simply Insider. Yeah, his source for this was none other than tanamongeau herself, who on August 3rd, 2021, just 2 days prior to Repzilla covering this story, she said the following.
A couple weeks ago, I got a call from that, should I say it?
Are they doing an article?
That Gabby Hanna was trying to sell to them that this YouTuber like with me when I was like underage, and then it was up, and I was like, what if this was my trauma? And I get this call. Gabby Hanna called me and said this YouTuber was trying to hook up with you when you were little.
Oh, ew, I hate that.
And I
hate that.
Now, to be fair, Tana doesn't get too explicit, so we can't definitively.
That's so fucked. Did, like, Gabby Hanna, like, need money? Like, that desperately? Genuinely? Like, was the music, like, just not popping off? Because how are you going to be the person of reason in the moment? Like, literally, in the moment they're the person of reason. They're literally like, hello, like, why the fuck are you doing that? To then, later on, being like, I can make a buck off of knowing this? Like, that's so fucking weird.
Definitively say she's talking about Cody here, but she calls it a, flirty encounter, which could mean, just about anything. Now, do I think this was about Cody Co based on what we know? Yes,
I think it is.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if back in 2021, Tana was kind of softening the story because she wasn't ready to come out with more details and was likely still processing everything. So I want to just kind of err on the side of caution and leave the door open
2021,
here. But back to what
3
Tana
years
is
ago.
alleging here, because this is a big deal to me. That Gabby Hanna tried to sell her story to the press. So let's dig even more. As of me filming this, Repzilla's video has just over 68,000 views, which is a lot of eyes, but also
and that's
like
2
not.
years
and
ago.
While some other channels did make mention of it around that time.
What's crazy, Chad, is like this is like when we're truly like really talking about this, but yet this story of the Cody Co Tana thing has literally been circulating for years. And you're telling me that Cody Co didn't know about this? Bullshit. Babes, I am nowhere near the size of Cody Co. Nowhere near. And I will know if there is something circulating about me that reaches any degree beyond like maybe 5 to 10K. Like I will somehow find a way, whether it's someone mentioning it to me, whether it's me stumbling upon it myself, someone in my team stumbling upon it. Like 100% I believe that this story's been circulating and Cody Co has been fucking silent in hopes that it just goes away. Of like, don't talk about it because you'll bring more notice to it. Like, bury it. Don't even address it. And what's crazy is, honestly, with the state that Tana was in, especially 3 years ago, he could have literally reached out to Tana, and I'm pretty sure she would have not given a shit, and like, maybe we wouldn't even be here right now. Like, if he did give a fuck, which he doesn't give a fuck. All he cares about is like his money, obviously, and like retaining his brand and trying to like damage control as much as possible out of this and like somehow still have some sort of fucking career out of this. He did reach out to her only. Oh, wait, no, you're right. Didn't he reach out to her being like, I don't want this to ruin my wedding or like something? No, wait, I think you are right. There was, like, a thing, but it was, like, very, like, fucked. Like, it was very him-focused, I swear. I don't remember, but now that you said that, I did hear that from somewhere that there was, like, an instance of it kind of being addressed to a degree. Oh, yeah, he, like, said, are we good? Like, he didn't even say it he didn't, like, obviously mention it directly. He was like, oh, like, are we good? Because, I'm about to get married. And, like, he said something like that, remember? I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I swear I heard this somewhere. Ew. Bro, I feel like that interaction alone might as well just be a confession. It was like Dr. Disrespect's, like, reply. Like self-fulfilling.
Like T-Spill, who covered this
She's
part
definitely
of the
gonna
story
cover
in December
that.
of 2021.
During the podcast with Amari and Ashley, Tana said something that I think
Of course,
maybe she was regretting
T-Spill.
because she
Of
ended up
course.
cutting it out of the video version uploaded to YouTube. Tana pretty much came right
she
on
cut
out
it
and said that
out.
she was 17/18 when she was hooking up with JC and Cody Co. Cody Co is 8 years older than Tana, which
Wait,
would
who's
make him
JC?
around 25 or 26 when this all was going down.
And that's not right. That's not correct. I know now. I was 17 at the time, 18. And so I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC
Where's that
Kaylin.
Cody
Shout out
Co-
Cody Co.
Wait, JC
And which,
Kaylin?
understandably, a lot of people are really shocked and
is
upset
that?
about if it's actually true. Here's what people had to say. If Cody Co actually hooked up with tanamongeau when she was 17/18 while he was 25/26, I will actually cry, scream, throw up, punch a wall like I'm sick.
Back then, the story didn't seem to gain any
Content
traction
group with
beyond,
Trevi
a
and
few
Connor
disgusted commenters
Franta.
on T-Spill's video, and either Cody's team managed to sweep it under the rug, or more likely, it didn't get much attention because, number one, people weren't open to the idea of Tana being a victim of anything.
I realized how much people will discredit, I guess, trauma or just crazy or like whatever when you are wild.
Or this didn't take off because number 2, this was happening during the peak of Gabby Hanna's own controversies that were spiraling out of control all over the internet, with headlines like, YouTuber Gabby Hanna is lashing out at multiple creators after people criticized her 2017 poetry, and inside YouTuber Gabby Hanna's complex feud with drama channel Angelica Oles over a murdered teenager, and quote, how former Vine star Gabby Hanna and Jesse Smiles' friendship unraveled in a multi-year saga on
this was
YouTube,
so
where
messy.
You may remember that Gabby Hanna had been widely accused of being an R-word apologist after creator Jesse Smiles was tragically SA'd by her guilty as hell then boyfriend, convicted Curtis Lepore, and Gabby was very vocally skeptical of Jesse both during the time of the allegations and long since after, even though convicted Curtis had not only admitted to what he did, but took a plea deal and pled guilty to charges. It's hard to say what Gabby's true intentions were, especially if she was suffering through a mental health situation at the time, but typically mental health issues don't absolve people from accountability, and in many people's opinions, Gabby Hanna handled that situation in a reprehensible manner.
You are narcissistic abusers, and you have been for 6 years, Jesse Smiles. I have to keep that in. These are bullies. These are high school bullies.
Gabby also went on the attack against the show Escape the Night, including accusing the host Joey Graceffa and producer Daniel Preda of triggering her eating disorder for not meeting her dietary specifications on set. So
wild time of you two.
Joey Graceffa posted a YouTube video titled Gabby Hanna Needs to Stop, where he refers to her as being a nightmare on set. Now, you may be asking, Swoop, oh, why the hell are you talking about this? What does this have to do with Tana and what allegedly happened to her? So, excellent question, friends and Suspirians. I'm bringing this up for one simple reason.
After all the Escape the Night, I wasn't like super in it. Like obviously it was an experience.
Oh wait, she was there?
Yeah, that's gross. I know. I liked a Joey Graceffa tweet about what just impertinence to like his video or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I get this call. Gabby Hanna called me and said this YouTuber was trying to hook up with you and you were all this
I
shit.
hate that.
And I was like, I didn't even think about the fact. I was like, damn, well now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that could be something that could be, but it's mine to like have or not have.
You cannot bring someone else's trauma public. Like if you've never talked about it, if you're friends with this person, like regardless of how wrong.
So like, okay, I'm assuming the connection here is that Tana, they might be thinking like, oh, because Tana took everyone else's side in this Gabby Hanna situation because she was like publicly liking tweets, which if you are watching this, if you didn't know, Twitter used to have a time period where you like saw people's likes. It doesn't happen anymore. And maybe she's connecting like, oh, did Gabby go to sell the story as like kind of like a getting her back for not being on her side kind of thing.
Ew!
According to Tana, because she liked a Joey Graceffa tweet, Gabby Hanna called up Business Insider trying to sell or leak the story about an adult trying to hook up with Tana at Playlist Live. What
Let me ruin your life.
Whole grain, gluten-free audacity? Like, this is the kind of low-grade pettiness that Professor Petty doth protest to. It's gross. This is presumably the same adult, Cody, who Gabby so freely spoke about on the podcast, where she painted herself as someone who was trying to protect child Tana from the big bad man.
And I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older. She's underage.
So let's dig just a little bit deeper. And again, this is all speculation, but remember all those headlines I cited earlier about Gabby? You know, YouTuber Gabby Hanna is lashing out at multiple creators after people criticized her 2017 poetry. Or this one, Joey Graceffa says Gabby Hanna was a nightmare on the set of Escape the Night. While they were just reporting the facts, all those articles were quite damning for Gabby Hanna's public profile. And guess what? All of those articles were published by Business Insider, the very same media outlet that Tana said Gabby was trying to sell her story of trauma to. And in the podcast, Tana prefaces this story by saying that she got a call a few weeks ago.
It was more just like a flirty weird encounter or whatever. And a couple weeks ago, I got a call from that, should I say it? That Gabby Hanna was trying to sell to them that this YouTuber like hooked up with me when I was like underage.
Now, remember, that podcast was posted on August 3rd, 2021, so we could infer that a few weeks ago was sometime in early to mid-July of 2021. And coincidentally, when do you think those scathing articles about Gabby Hanna were published to Business Insider? If you guessed the same time frame, you would be correct. Round of applause. Those articles were published.
So Gabby Hanna was trying to get Business Insider to stop writing about her, so she threw tanamongeau under the bus. The YouTube sphere is insane.
On June 28th, July 7th, and July 10th in the year of our Lord 2021. So, what am I trying to say? Nothing. I'm just showing the timeline of events.
The way she's like not trying to say anything.
I'll say it. Again, to be fair, I can't make a concrete statement about this without Gabby telling her side, but I will ask this question. Is it possible that given the coincidental timeline, that Gabby Hanna, after seeing Tana like a damn tweet from Joey Graceffa of all things, and given the press Gabby was getting, is it possible that Gabby was trying to exploit Tana's trauma and sell it to the press in hopes of bolstering her own damaged reputation by sainting herself as the one adult in the situation who was trying to protect Tana? What do you think?
I mean, I get, wanting to get a little bit of attention, but, I guess we all choose different ways to get that attention.
If, with a lot of F's, there's any validity to this question, then my next question is, if Gabby knew that Cody was an adult and being inappropriate with a minor, why would Gabby think that it was appropriate to exploit the trauma of the child, even though it was years later and Tana was now an adult? So with all that in mind,
and then that just brings a question, what were Gabby's intentions with saying it to Cody Co? Was it like I have dirt on you kind of thing? Was it I'm ooh.
Final Gabby Hanna question is this. Does this clip come across any different to you knowing these allegations?
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she looks a little older, she's underage.
Now, I want to stress that just like there's no such thing as the perfect victim, there's also no such thing as the perfect witness. By all accounts, Gabby Hanna was a witness, and just because Gabby may have done something potentially diabolical, that still doesn't take away from the actual story and the central focus that Cody
I think the story is still real. I think she is telling the truth in that regard. Do I know what her motivations are in our motivation sketch? Yeah, 100%. But I don't think it discredits it to the point where it's oh, this didn't happen, this was made up. I don't think it's that at all.
Who allegedly committed a crime against Tana. And also remember, this was 3 years ago when Gabby allegedly tried to sell the story. So all I can do is hope that she has grown and changed from that. But also remember, Tana found out through a phone call where someone tipped her off. What if that call was just Business Insider contacting Tana directly to get a quote on a story that they were going to proceed with regardless?
It definitely was.
It's possible that the idea of Tana's story being sold without her input or consent could have pushed her into speaking about this back on the canceled podcast in 2021, regardless of whether or not she was ready to, which could essentially then maybe by correlation mean that Gabby Hanna's actions may have pushed or forced an alleged victim to speak when they didn't want to.
I was so afraid for so long of just telling the truth about it. It could be the cold hard truth, but I'm like, A, people aren't gonna believe me, I'm tanamongeau, I'm psycho. B, I get so scared of people where it's I could say Gabby and I didn't have the best time on Escape the Night. We there were moments where we were friends, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and act like we were never friends, but I'm saying I was scared to even just say something like that because I'm what if she finds our text from 2015 and cancels it or anyone in that case? I was so afraid of even just not doing a podcast for so long. I was I'm gonna talk my truth about so much, and I was so afraid of
Now, in addition to all of this, we've now got an imperfect witness to the imperfect witness, Keemstar. Yeah, I know, but hear me out, okay? In a tweet on July 15th, 2024, Keemstar seems to corroborate both Tana's story and Gabby's story, and also Tana's story about Gabby allegedly trying to sell her story to Business Insider. I know it's a lot. Quote, this is what I know. Years ago, Gabby Hanna told me in an off-record statement that a 25-year-old Cody Co was kissing a 17-year-old tanamongeau at a playlist live in Florida. The age of consent in Florida is 18. Anyone 24 or older hooking up with a 16, 17-year-old is statutory. Gabby told me.
Why Keemstar, though? Again, calling into question Gabby Hanna's intention with all this. Because, like, Keemstar's always been, like, the drama dude, right? Off the record. Like, it's giving, I don't want my name involved in this, but I'm going to tip you off that this is happening so you can go look into it, and if you can find something, talk about it. Because the thing is, too, is Gabby and Cody Co. both come from Vine. And, like, we're always kind of, like, related to each other through that way. Like, when people thought of, like, successful Vine creators, like, they were definitely in that pool. So I do wonder if there was, like, weird competitiveness between them and, like, all that. Because Gabby was, at least comes off that type of, like, you know, caring about views, caring about other people's views, caring about, like how popular they are in regards to, like, other people and their, like, public persona, like, 100%. So, like, this is just so weird that this is, like, more than once. Keemstar was the guy for info back the day before he went off the rails.
That she pulled Cody Co aside to inform him Tana was 17, and Cody Co said thank you for the warning to Gabby. Gabby said later that night Cody Co had S with Tana even though she warned him. I also
How does she know that they actually did hook up though? That's what I want to know. Unless, like, she's just filling in the blanks from the things Tana has said since.
With Tana to confirm this.
Oh, wait, so she spoke with Tana? Or wait, Keemstar spoke with Tana? Keemstar did.
Story, she confirmed it, but at the time, Tana was upset with Gabby for sharing her story. Business Insider was also made aware of this years ago. There is no new statement from Gabby, but I did get permission to share what I was told years ago. Drama Alert has another source claiming they seen this event happen. And in case anyone is upset with Keemstar that he didn't share this information all those years ago,
I am seeing a lot of replies of people saying, well, Keem, you knew about this alleged statutory of tanamongeau by Cody Co for years, and you didn't say anything. You're a horrible, horrible person. Guys, this was told to me years ago off record. I can't just leak that to the internet without knowing it's true, without someone actually going on record and destroying Cody Co's career over something that can't be confirmed. There's no witness on record.
Okay, well, the more important thing is, why are you going to speak for Tana? Like, what? He's like, I can't just destroy Cody Co's career. And you also just, like, I don't think they realize that, like, situations like this are very serious. And I feel like everybody, rightfully so, I think everyone would be lying. Everyone has that feeling when you learn something about this, where everyone gets into that savior mode of, like, okay, well, then let me talk about it. Like, I want to come forward. Like, I'll fight for you. But in these situations, like, you're not only possibly ruining the person's lives, yes, the alleged person, but you could also be ruining the victim's life. Like, when people come forward and think about how popular of a person Cody Co is, do you think that, like, Tana is not getting probably the most disgusting emails, creepiest messages, fucked up things going their way, especially with something that's this public? Like, this is not some random small town that no one's going to know about it. Like, everyone will know about it. It is the unfortunate reality, which is it is not easy for even the victim of a situation like this, because there are going to be hundreds of people that come to the defense and want to play, like, knight for an alleged, like, statutory R word.
I can't just leak that. Please use your brains, all right? I can't just come out with that statement. I wasn't there. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I get told crazy allegations off record on a daily basis. And what my team does is we try to find stuff online to confirm it. And if we can't get some credible stuff online or other witnesses that come out publicly, there's not much we can do.
And taking it back to Repzilla,
I just am, like, curious. Like, I need, like, a statistic of, like, how many of these stories are circulating. Are we talking 5, 10? Like, you don't even need to tell me who. You don't even need to tell me what. But how many are we looking at? 100 more? Like, because I'm not like feeling very comfortable with the idea that there are like every other day something like this. Like,
he added even more nuance to the conversation that's worth a look.
Now, there's some pretty big nuances in this situation. Number one being that it wouldn't be any creator's place to come out and talk about another creator's emotional situations, especially if they wasn't ready. Because publicly discussing Tana's situation without her being okay with it could have caused further harm. However, in some jurisdictions, there may be legal obligations for somebody to report a crime, especially if it has to do with a minor. During that time in 2016, Gabby Hanna was 25 years old, the same age as Cody Ko. Consequences for failing to report are criminal charges. Legal protections are that good faith reporters are generally protected from civil or criminal liability. Even the identity of the reporter is usually kept confidential. These laws are in place in Florida to mandate reporting suspected ABUSC of children and vulnerable adults with significant penalties for failing to do so. Now, it is possible that Gabby did report this to the police. We don't know.
Now, despite Gabby's past involvement, she's stayed curiously silent in present
So technically
day.
it was illegal.
I'm guessing it's
I did not know
maybe
that.
because she knew these allegations about her would surface again, similar to the way Cody Ko stayed silent all those years for his Gabby has made some cryptic hints in the form of an Instagram post on July 17th, captioned with a Bible quote, "Little
Like
children,
recently?
keep yourself from idols. What is done in the dark will be exposed in the light."
I hate her. Genuinely. A Bible quote, Gabby? A motherfucking Bible quote? Really? No, be genuinely so serious. Also, if you're not gonna fucking, like, say anything, or if you're not gonna, like, help a situation, don't involve yourself at this point. Also, this is, like, poster trying to sell it. Let us all take that in. This is a post sale of said story. Little children, shut the fuck up. I can't.
Which is, you know, ironic, I guess, but only time
No,
will tell
so
if
ironic.
Gabby speaks any further on this.
It doesn't matter how much makeup they have, like, you just know it. I'm like, yeah, you do. Like, there's an innocence about being 17. That's fucking creepy.
Now, I just want to mention something. I am aware.
I need that whole conversation because I want to study Cody Ko's face through that whole convo. That's insane that they talked about that. Like, and they're literally talking about a 17-year-old with so much makeup, which is interesting because Tana definitely had a caked up face. I really wonder if he knows.
That there was another alleged victim of Cody's. There was a statement that came out from a third party saying they remembered Cody allegedly dating a high schooler when he was 24. But from everything I have seen, she appears to be a private citizen and has not herself come forward. And so legally speaking, we can't dig further. This actually reminds me of what happened with another story that I really wanted to cover, had every intention of covering last year, but we had to completely drop it because as it turned out, and don't worry, this was all communicated with but we discovered midway through the process that the accused was actually a private citizen, contrary to what the mass public thought. And once we discovered this, which took some time, we were forced to drop it, which was really upsetting. There was also at least one journalist who had to drop their story for the exact same reason. I literally had to deal with YouTube legal over this same stuff, and trust me,
Oh my God.
no one wants to be dealing with YouTube legal. That was terrifying, okay? No, there were like some other medical factors to that situation that I definitely don't have the right to speak to, so we had to walk away. And listen, like, I don't really talk about this, but there were some people online who were very nasty to me and my team because we had to walk away, but there are so many things that people don't realize.
So wait, I didn't know this. Are you not allowed to cover stories on private citizens? Like, they have to be someone in, like, a public figure role to some degree? Like, because that is not something I knew.
Happen behind the scenes of stuff like this, including things like what Keemstar was referencing.
I did
so
not
like, if
know
you ever
that.
see me start to cover a story and then have to stop, it is always for a good reason, I promise. So long story short, I'm not gonna cover this
I couldn't
alleged
go and be
high
like, this
schooler
guy walked to
allegation,
Walmart.
in the Cody story, and all I can do is wish her the very best and hope that if she was harmed, that she finds healing. Now, Let's briefly break down this alleged crime against Tana. And to be clear, I believe Tana. And while I have to say allegedly, assuming it's true, it was a crime. So let's look at this from a kind of legal perspective. What, you didn't think Petty University had a law school? I'm just kidding, I'm not an attorney, this isn't legal advice, blah, 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 blah. But D'Angelo Wallace said it in no uncertain terms here.
To be clear, 17 is under the age of consent in many states, including Florida, where Playlist Live used to take place. So this means that tanamongeau is accusing you of statutory, and she's not trying to hide that.
This isn't just some crazy tea. It was a crime.
Statutory R, as defined by the Encyclopedia Britannica, consists of, quote, non-forced relations between an adult and an individual who legally is not old enough to consent to the behavior. Sorry that I get a little heated on this topic. Like, can we just stop there and I just call it a day on this debate in this country? No?
You know what actually drives me insane? I hate that in the United States, different states have different laws on this weirdness. Because you always see weirdos on Twitter being like, well, in blah, 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 it's 16, so just, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ew, ew, ew. Like, the biggest red flag is when a dude knows exactly which states have a law of 16. Any dude that has that on memory is literally a walking red motherfucking flag. If you are talking to a man, chat, and they can recite to you the exact states where the law is 16... or whatever, fucking run. Like, genuinely. But yeah, no, I think it's so weird that, like, states have different laws. Like, I don't know if that's, like, thing in Canada with provinces. It might be. But I still, yeah, I think, like, I feel like stuff like that should be just, like, across the board, countrywide. Like, I don't get that.
Well, shittlebits. Fine. Maybe there are some who are thinking that this is getting blown way out of proportion. Tana was just 2 months shy of 18 at the time. Does it really matter?
Literally all of Twitter. All of the men on Twitter. She was turning 18 in 2 months, bro. Bro, like, the men on Twitter are so weird and nasty. Like, they don't realize the gross, slippery fucking slope that they're even creating. Like, you're fucking weird. Please fucking stop. Why are you 25 and even contemplating? Like, there are plenty of people your age. Stop being weird. I can't. Like, I can't. What? All because you find Cody Co funny? Like, stand up, bro.
Matter. Well, yes, it does. Both legally and psychologically. There are reasons why laws like this exist, down to the 364th day of a birthday. The law says you're still not able to consent in the eyes of the law. Now, in the US, the age of consent is different depending on the state, which is, it's a lot.
So weird.
For example, the age of consent in California, where Cody lives, is 18. The legal age of consent in Georgia, 16. Wyoming, 17. Kentucky, 16. Delaware, 16. Arkansas, 14. Connecticut.
I'm sorry, what? Arkansas, the fuck is going on? Lock the government up at that point. Like, genuinely. Like, anyone that's on the board, I need them behind bars. 14. Girl, what? That's like a not, ew, ew! And bro, there are literally people, chat, on the right. Like, isn't it Sneeko that wants to lower the fucking age of consent? Pretty sure it is. He, like Sneeko was, like, fucking arguing to, like, lower the age of consent and, like, the age of marriage. Being like, oh, I think he was arguing that 16-year-olds should be able to marry anybody they want. And I was like, lock him up. Lock him up. Like, it's a self-report. Lock him up. Allegedly. I don't know if I'm quoting it correctly. Allegedly. He was arguing that to Moist Critical. Like, how do people still watch him? The youth are doomed.
law. Now, in the US, the age of consent is different depending on the state, which is, it's a lot. For example, the age of consent in California, where Cody lives, is 18. The legal age of consent in Georgia,
Why are you watching
16.
us as videos?
Wyoming, 17. Kentucky,
Me?
16.
I don't watch his videos. I just get the clips onto my Twitter.
Delaware, 16. Arkansas, 14. Connecticut, 13. If we're...
Wait, what? I didn't even... Connecticut is even lower? Bro, what is happening? How has that not been changed? Like, genuinely.
Individual who legally is not old enough to consent to the behavior. Sorry that I get a little heated. No, well, shittlebits. Fine. Maybe there are some who are thinking that this is getting blown way out of proportion. Tana was just 2 months shy of 18 at the time. Does it really matter? Well,
I'm sorry,
yes,
I can't take
it
that.
does,
I can't even take
both
that
legally and psychologically. There are reasons why laws like this exist, down to the 364th day of a birthday. The law says the age of consent is different depending on the state, which is
sorry, Chad, I
legal age of
backwards
consent
by
in Georgia,
accident.
16, Wyoming, 17, Kentucky.
In Germany, it's 14. Like, for the whole country? Okay, wait. The age of consent law is, like, for Germany's 18? The federal age of consent is 18 through, and in cross-state situations, you usually go by 18. America's so weird. I blame Republicans for blocking age of consent laws as well as keeping around child marriage laws. Japan, it used to be 13. Lord.
16, Delaware, 16, Arkansas, 14, Connecticut, 13. If we're talking the Romeo and Juliet exceptions, it's a deeply complex and often flawed system. But in this story, we're looking at Florida state laws, which codify the age of consent as 18, and Tana was 17. So do we see the problem here? But these laws do have degrees of nuance to them. For example, some states have what's called a close-in age exemption, where if the two partners are within a certain age of one another, it doesn't fall under these laws. So like, let's take a closer look at the Florida statutory essay legislation here. Quote, a child under 16 years of age cannot consent regardless of the age of the defendant. A child who is at least 16 years of age and less than 18 of age cannot consent if the defendant is 24 years of age or older.
And he was 25.
Not convinced? The Legal Survival Guide specifies again that, quote, the only exception to the legal age of consent is the so-called Romeo and Juliet law, which is a close-in age exception. This Florida law states that minors who are 16 or 17 can consent to S activity with someone no more than 23 years old. If the adult is age 24 or older, it's considered statutory R. And how old was Cody again when this allegedly occurred?
25.
Please!
Right. So, now that we've got that cleared up, let me say it again. A child who is at least 16 years of age and less than 18 years of age cannot consent if the defendant is 24 years of age or older, and quote. And let's not forget the power dynamic at play here, right? Because for some effing reason, even when it's against the law, it seems as though alleged perpetrators who are powerful public figures are given a pass. Like, did y'all know, I learned this. Did y'all know that back in 1993, comedian Jerry Seinfeld, yeah, that one, was dating a 17-year-old girl when he was 38. A girl that he picked up in Central Park. Feedly-dee! A literal high school student. Feedly-f***ing-dee!
Genuinely, what are you talking about with a fucking 17-year-old? Like, genuinely, you're weird. You're weird as fuck. What do you have to relate to? Why are you attracted to someone that age? You're weird. Like, when you're talking about the fucking weather? No, it is, like, old enough to be her dad, maybe. Ew! And he's, like, famous? Like, what? And people were just chill?
Sorry. Speaking of age gaps, there are people who see these age gap relationships as an ethical gray area, regardless of how well defined the laws are. And it's a sad reality of our culture that SA is one of the most underreported crimes in the United States. And even when justice is pursued, the vast majority of offenders do not see jail time. So when people say, oh, why didn't you stop complaining and go to the police? It's because that doesn't always help anything. Like, don't believe me? Let me give you a really quick, incredibly effed up example of this based on personal experience, because as y'all know, sometimes on my channel I share personal things that I've experienced. Tons of you have told me that it just helps and makes you feel a little more seen, so I will continue to do that. Like, I literally don't care if someone thinks it's cringe. That's their problem, not mine, because again, you know, any of us who share, even you in the comments, we shared it.
The French president's wife started dating him at 15 and she was his teacher? What? Like, wait, who is the French president right now? Wait, Macron? This man? French president's wife. So we're talking about Bridget? She's old as fuck. How old is she? 1953? Is that old? What year is it? What timeline are we in? 2024 minus 1953. 71? How old is he? Okay, she's 71 and he is 47. 71 minus 47. A 24-year age gap. She's trumping on Craig. Yeah, because in France, the age of consent is 15 and 13 if the other party is less than 5 years. So wait, she, like, this is documented, like, she was his teacher? And, like, were they, when did they start dating? And, like, he's running the country? And this is just, like, there? Just, like, on the side? Wait. Oh my god. She was teaching French and Latin at Lycée La Providence, a Jesuit high school in Amiens from 2007 to 2015. She taught in the 16th of Paris, one of the most prestigious French private schools. At the institution, she was a French teacher. It was at the after-school drama club where she and Emmanuel first met. She was in charge of the after-school theater club he attended when he was 15, alongside her own daughter who was in his class. That's that layer alone. Like, I know it's bad, but that extra layer of your own daughter being in the class. Their relationship has attracted controversy as she is a senior by 25 years, and Macron has described it as a love often clandestine, often hidden and misunderstood. When did they like get married and stuff? 1974. Oh, this is her second marriage. Oh, so she had a man and then divorced. Wait, 1974? When did they get divorced? She was 40 when she met him? Wait, what? Wait, she divorced and then married him in 2007? How old was he when they were married? Hold on. How old was he in 2007? 2007 was how long ago? 2024 minus 2007. 17 years ago? Was it 17 years ago? Really? 17 years ago? And how old is he right now? He's how old? He's like 40? $46? 29. Oh, that's crazy. She swooped in right before he hit 30. My question is, how the fuck did they stay in contact? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, how did they even know that the other existed this whole time? Like, what? I need the phone records, like, genuinely.
Try to destigmatize these tough conversations. And in case any of you watching have ever been harmed and either are afraid to speak out, which is very valid, or you've tried and were invalidated, which I'm so sorry, just let me be someone to tell you that you deserve to share your story as much as you want or don't want. It's really that simple. So, quick story. A few years ago, a pathetic and disgusting asswipe of a man named Ron Jeremy was arrested and charged with 34 criminal counts of SA, of which he pled guilty to over 30 counts, including 12 counts of forcible R-word, battery, and lewd acts on minors, spanning 23 years. He was a prolific serial essayist. Now, why does this matter to me? Because Ron Jeremy assaulted me in public in front of many witnesses at a music concert. Now, I was not one of the ones who brought charges against him because I did what many survivors do and emotionally just diminished what happened to me, you know, in my head because, you know, he only SA'd me. And I kind of just tried to explain away that, you know, what he did to me was not as bad as what he did to others. And, you know, realistically, I still think that way. And unfortunately, many survivors diminish our experiences. Tana also speaks about this. And in my opinion, I'm willing to guess troglodyte asshat Ron Jeremy has actually harmed hundreds of people. I know that he did similar to creator Kat Black, who also shared about her experience. And what happened to Ron Jeremy asshat Ronnie Boy after he pled guilty? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Wait,
what?
As of April of this year, all 34 charges were dismissed against him. It was a f***ing moment when I discovered that. Now, why were they dismissed? It's not because the survivors didn't have a case. It was because he allegedly suffers from dementia. Yeah. That's why. So, this idea that once a survivor goes public with what happened to them, all will be peachy in the land of justice is very often a complete f***ing lie. I'm not saying that to discourage any of you from going forward to the police. If you have the strength, please do so.
Oh, that pissed me off.
But when we see instances of the public reaction to Tana coming forward, however she chose to do so is to do mental gymnastics, trying to claim, well, you know, she was 17 and 364 days of blah, blah, blah. You know, go to the police. Not only does that make a situation more it continues to cause widespread damage to survivors in a situation where they're already up against immense challenges in getting any sort of justice. Okay. Rant done. One of the most troubling, but unfortunately not surprising, terrible things about Tana's story doesn't just stop with what Cody allegedly did. Some people online felt the need to instantly doubt, dismiss, and mock Tana simply because she's tanamongeau and because she came out with her
Apparently there's something about there was something about comments and responses. Oh wait, is she gonna talk about the Cody response? I wonder if she knows more.
Story. You know, she spoke out loud I know, how dare she?
The public's reaction to this has made me feel 10 different types of ways that I didn't feel before. Like, I have seen so many comments of people like on some like, but what was she wearing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On some like,
Oh,
what's
God.
and like,
Ew,
and
ew, ew, ew,
isn't
ew.
that crazy?
It's so
like,
up.
because I really like, you know how I feel towards it, but now seeing all of these people like not believe me and say, well, what if she's lying or she's this and she's that and she's dramatic? First of all, there's nothing, I would never lie about that. Like, I'm not gonna put an allegation on anyone, like, ever like that, obviously. But then it...
But also, like, what is she to gain from lying? Genuinely. Because no one's going to lie and throw themselves in literally a crossfire of bullshit. For what? Like, tanamongeau is successful, she has money, she has survived millions of cancellations, she's like a roach, no offense, like, she ain't going nowhere. So I don't understand why anyone would think that she would just fucking lie, especially since there's been a trail of her slightly talking about this, like, here and there. Like, this isn't just out of nowhere. Like, it's been around. Like, come on, be so serious. Anyone saying that just, like, is a fucking, like, low-key incel.
And then I just, like, I feel so bad for all of these young girls because then they see that and then it makes them not want to come forward. And then I am like, wow, everyone.
Yeah.
Like, seeing people not believe you is so crazy.
Since the dawn of time, people have been fast to protect the abuser while attacking the victim. In a headline article on the subject, Shanna Mayer, author and professor of criminal justice at Widener University, said, quote, "We don't believe survivors in general. We completely doubt their credibility." And in a fascinating article from Very Well Mind, written by author, psychological rehabilitation specialist, and educator Kendra Cherry, titled "Why Do People Blame the Victim?" quote, "Blaming the victim is a phenomenon in which victims of crimes or tragedies are held accountable for what happened to them. Victim blaming allows people to believe that such events could never happen to them. Blaming the victim is known to occur in R and SA cases where the victim of crime is often accused of inviting the attack due to her clothing or behavior." And one of the things that Cherry discusses is a phenomenon called fundamental attribution error. Quote, "The fundamental attribution error is a bias that involves attributing other people's behaviors to internal personal characteristics while ignoring external forces and variables that also might have played a role. When a classmate flunks a test, for example, you probably attribute their behavior to a variety of internal characteristics. You might believe that the other student didn't study hard enough, isn't smart enough, or is just plain lazy. Now, if you were to fail a test, however, what would you blame your poor performance on? In many cases, people blame their failings on external sources. You might protest that the room was too hot and you couldn't concentrate, or that the teacher didn't grade the test fairly or included too many trick questions. And perhaps one of the most alarming yet easy to understand reasons why people blame victims is because hindsight is 20/20. Quote, "When we look at an event that happened in the past, we have a tendency to believe that we should have been able to see the signs and predict the outcome. The hindsight makes it seem like the victim of a crime, accident, or another form of misfortune should have been able to predict and prevent whatever problem might have befallen them." No matter how clear-cut the facts, there are people who will find a way to place blame on the victim. And unfortunately, these are the kinds of comments that Tana endured in the wake of the leaked video.
I have like so many thoughts on this whole situation, you know what I mean? And I was first talking about like trauma, and I don't know if you do this, I wonder if you relate to this, but like there's a lot of things I look back on that I think would maybe traumatize. I love how serious we just got. Yeah, I know. I want to finish the smallest man in the world, but we'll go back. I got it in my brain, okay?
That like would maybe traumatize the average person more, but you've been through things that are so much more detrimental that you can kind of look back at these things and they don't really feel traumatizing. Like, and that was kind of the situation I was in and like my perspective on it. But then I was like, but at the same time, like if I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like I would kill.
Yeah.
You know, so then it's like,
same, yeah.
It's hard in that regard. But the thing that was actually really heartbreaking to me and kind of crazy to me is after it started going viral, like seeing so many people like not believing me and being like, it's Tana, so who cares, it's this. And then I just started to feel bad for so many other girls who maybe look up to me and want to speak their truth and then see the way people like.
I think those words are actually very powerful and again remind me of how important it is to try and normalize these conversations. That's why we talk about it here.
Is this gonna be his text or whatever that he sent to her? I hope so. I hope it's in this.
But what about Cody's side of the story? Now, to be fair, we should be willing to hear from him, so let's take a listen to his response to all of these allegations.
Oh, that's crazy.
My mistake,
that's
so
crazy.
sorry. Cody has been very quiet about all of this, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, you know, unless you consider him DJing a set at the Encore Beach Club in Las Vegas, playing Justin Bieber's song Sorry, a response then. Ironically.
Oh, he's kind of embarrassing. Why is he DJing? Like, genuinely. Is he okay? Is he having a midlife crisis? How did you go from like a comp sci major who made a fucking caption app to a fucking DJ? Genuinely. I honestly, chat, and not to hate the profession, but I think like DJs give me an ick. I don't know how to explain it. But like I'm pretty sure like if I had an ick, it would be from like guys DJing. Like I think that's an ick for me.
You have to be over 21 to get into that show. Fiddly-dee! Aside from that, what we do know is that on July 26th, a post made to the staff of the Tiny Meat Gang podcasting network stated that Cody would be stepping away from the day-to-day operations at TMG. Quote, "We want to start by thanking you all for your patience while we were working to figure out the best path forward for the studio. We know it's been a very strenuous few weeks."
This is his podcast with his friend, right? Like that other dude? Because isn't that what their podcast is called? The Tiny Meat Gang? Also, not them calling it that and then Tana saying is a small cock. Like, this is just a self-report. It's kind of weird. I feel like they're doing nothing while pre-produced music plays.
Weeks for everyone, and we really appreciate your willingness to bear with us. You are the most creative and incredible group of people. We feel so lucky to work with all of you. TMG Studios is what it is because of you. We couldn't be more proud of the incredible roster of talent. We've been privileged to work with you and everything we've accomplished. Words, words, words. As we enter into this next phase of the studio, we wanted to let you know that Cody will not be involved in the day-to-day operations at TMG Studios.
What is this? That's his friend. Oh, Mr. Beast. Find Ascension through TMJ Studio. What the fuck even is this? This is their podcast thing. So his friend 100% knows, by the way. Has his friend said anything? Because his friend 100% knows what's going on. They're like literally like in business with each other. No, what's his name? Noel Miller? I guess it's just what, they own like a studio? Exclusive access? So they kind of did like a little BuzzFeed thing underneath them. So they have like other creators who work. Like it's kind of giving BuzzFeed, not the fucking merch, bro. And they've basically kind of made their own version of what's it called? Like Patreon. Is this not him? Didn't Noel make a joke on one of his podcast episodes or a video? I have no clue.
What has transpired over the past few weeks is a personal issue for him, and Cody wants to remove any effect this is having on your professional and personal lives and the work you and your other hosts have done to make TMG Studios so successful.
But it's like, how do you work there? Like, genuinely, if you're a creator, like, how do you work under that studio anymore knowing it? Do you know what I mean?
Noel will continue to lead the—
Like, this isn't Best Buy where you're like removed. You know, this isn't like you working your regular ass job at like a Starbucks barista and some random dude you have no idea about, like at the very top of like the like board, whatever, like situation. Like, this is way smaller than that. And most of these people probably come into like direct contact with him all the time.
the team, his top priority remains the life and growth of the studio and its talent. Our audience sees your hard work every week, and we want that to continue. They deserve it, and so do you. We have built something truly special, and he's committed to keeping that alive and well.
It says Cody
now, this
and
joint
Noel.
statement from Noel and Cody was later released on the TMG website, but
Best
it's
Buy popped
really
up because I worked
buried in there
Well,
under
used
the
to work
members
there.
only tab. Of course, you have to be a paid member if you want to leave a comment or even view the comments, which is very on brand with his Patreon paywall apology about racism. So, cool. Staying with it. But I especially like the creative choice to write this TMG letter in the third person, referring to Cody, but then have Cody sign the letter. Even this choice distances Cody from accountability, although
why are they referring? I thought it was literally written by somebody else. That's actually so true. It's written completely in third person, and third person refers to Cody and Noel, but then it says sincerely Cody and Noel. It's so funny seeing people play CEO. Like, it's so funny.
No apologies being made here and no specifics, and this message sidesteps around what the accusations even are, calling it a personal issue for Cody.
Wait, didn't what's-her-name get canceled? I saw about this too? This is like the 5th time I swear she's gotten canceled this week. Who is it? The one that makes the videos? Oh, what's her name? Oh, she got canceled about the Israel-Palestine stuff because she didn't talk about it because she was like, oh, I, shouldn't have to speak or whatever the fuck. Oh, what was it? I don't watch her stuff, so I don't know. Brittany? Is it Brittany Broski? Is this Brittany Broski here? I can't tell. Kind of gives her vibe, but I can't tell. Because isn't Brittany Broski friends with, him or something, too? People were saying, isn't Brittany Broski friends with Cody or something? And people were kind of like, how have you not said anything? Yikes. Rough week for Brittany, babes. Rough month. She needs a PR team.
Again, it's a choice. And the thing is, just because Cody isn't involved in day-to-day operations now doesn't mean he's not the, owner anymore. And so he's likely going to continue to profit off of the content the company makes, which is somewhat complicated, let's be real. But at the same time, it's a very thing for everyone else with the company and for the company itself, because they ain't got nothing to do.
I'm calling him out. I'm gonna call my man up. You get yourself off that fucking screen. I don't ever want to fucking see you there again. I don't ever want to fucking see you there again. The fuck? What show was he on?
And what Cody
I don't watch
has done
any of
on
this.
his own free time. And the actions of leaders shouldn't just invalidate the company and all of the good people working within it. I know people often want to shut down companies in these types of situations.
She said, oh wait, Brittany said no to going on Tana's podcast. I love when the girlies in chat are caught up. Thank you. Interesting.
But I don't think that's necessarily fair to the many, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people who would lose their jobs or their careers. So it's very complicated, right? But with that said, at least one of the shows, their studio hosts did decide to cut ties on their own. That's their choice. And again, I think shows that stay with the company, I don't think that they should be grilled or roasted or given a hard time. It's just bad all around, and they're just trying to do their thing, right? But the show that stepped away is Emergency Intercom with Drew and Enya, and they announced their decision to leave TMG Studios following the allegations surrounding Cody. Quote, "Hey everyone, we wanted to express that we are moving the podcast to be produced independently by us, so in the meantime, no episodes this week while we figure out the best plan forward. Thanks for your understanding and patience." And it's also worth noting that The Cut has removed their video collaborations with Cody Co. My guess is at this point, Cody is hoping this, will eventually just blow over and kind of be forgotten. And honestly, there's always the chance of that. That's happened all the time.
But what about the message?
But it also could have huge legal implications for Cody. We've already established that if these allegations are true, and that's not me doubting Tana, that's just how I have to phrase it, Cody has committed a criminal act, allegedly. And while Tana doesn't currently seem interested in pursuing this through the legal system, it's hard to say if Cody could even be prosecuted. It's tough. And in this story, the statute of limitations to report a crime like this in the state of Florida is days, 8 years after the victim turns 18. Tana is currently 26, meaning it's been 8 years exactly. Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer and not familiar enough with the nitty-gritty of Florida law, but it might explain Cody's silence. But there's also another issue for Cody here. Like, he's a Canadian and currently applying for American citizenship, and any legal issues or pending criminal cases could wreck that process. And from what I can tell, I think Cody is applying for citizenship through his wife. Kelsey is an American YouTuber who has been married to Cody since 2023. And by the way,
that's
did
recent.
you mention that they have a kid together? Yeah, complicated. And listen, like, the way I see this has got to be a shit
I didn't know they had a
time for Kelsey.
kid.
Like, imagine just over a year into your marriage, these allegations come out, and on top of that, as the wife, you're now being harassed in the comments of your own personal YouTube channel and Instagram, flooded with viewers demanding that you get your husband to make a statement. Like, I get why people feel compelled to do that. I really do, but I think it's crappy.
Place.
Like, this all happened years ago, well before Kelsey and Cody met, and I'm guessing she had no knowledge of this incident because, like, how many dudes are just like, hey, wife-to-be, did you know
By
that
the way,
I statutoried a girl back in the day? Isn't that so cool? Oh, I'm so hot. So I've never been a fan of people attacking who are likely innocent bystanders in the process, in their determination to
I honestly feel bad for her. Like, damn. Like, do you just throw away, I probably would, personally. Like, I'm gonna be real. I think if I was in that situation, and, like, in this situation, I would probably talk to Tana, if it was me, or the person. And given everything around it, like, it just seems very credible. Like, I personally I would 100% leave the person. Like, I just could not be with someone like that.
Get an answer from Cody. Like, I personally would be horrified if someone were attacking the spouse of the man who SA'd me. I mean,
but also, like, that says so much about him. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, that says so much about Cody that he's willing to let his wife take a front for him. Like, she is literally getting harassed because of him, and he's still staying silent and wanting it to go away. Like, that says so much about him, and I hope that she sees that too.
Remember the Try Guys when people uncovered evidence that Ned Fulmer was cheating on his wife? He was, like, canceled, but Ariel got caught in the crossfires over her decision to stay with Ned, which is also crappy. So, like, I really hope that at the very least...
I think it's kind of funny, but he made a whole persona about being a wife guy and cheated on his wife. Like, that's insane. Like, Bundy was literally playing a scripted role.
If Kelsey decides to stay with Cody, that people respect her decision for her family. But of course, Cody, listen. Are you listening? It would be really f***ing cool if you at least said something to the public to stop harassing Tana and your wife. But, you know, Cody and his team probably have their hands full with all of the comments they're deleting on the Cody Co. and Small Deli Meats subreddits and whatnot, so they're staying busy.
On your YouTube channel, where you've been pumping out content nearly every day now, I couldn't find a single comment on your last video about this situation. Not even one. Comparing that to the comment section on your Instagram, where every single comment I saw was about this, it's clear that you're heavily censoring your audience on YouTube.
1 month ago, 2 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 4 months ago, 4 months ago. So he hasn't posted in a month.
All right, welcome back to That's Crazy.
I want to see what else he has. He has a Snapchat. I hate it. Wait, he has another channel? What is it? Show it to me, Rachel. What's the other channel name? Not the Golden Globes retweet. I can't. He doesn't really use Twitter, it looks like. His second channel is Cody and Co. Thank you. Oh. XQC reacted to this 58 minutes ago. Apparently there's another video that went out 2 days ago. Oh wait, this is the other. Wait, this is Cody Co. Why can't I find the other channel? Hold on, chat. Cody and Co YouTube. I had to like literally.
Hey, quick note before this video starts.
I literally had to side like it's not coming up. Oh yeah, you're right. He posts like crazy on this. 3 weeks ago.
You know,
what day was
ask me all
this?
the time, they say, Cody, what?
July 13th.
Hello, me loves. How are?
July 2nd. It's like every other week. So he hasn't basically this situation happened and he hasn't said shit. He's just gone like literally completely radio silent.
I want to touch on one of the other things that D'Angelo mentioned in his video regarding big content creators over 1 million subscribers not covering this story, likely because Cody was doing such a good job at sweeping this under the rug and people not really knowing about it.
None of your friends, nobody on your level, nobody in the commentary niche with enough pull is willing to admit that this situation makes you look terrible.
A lot of people like him a lot, and they really are like doing any kind of mental gymnastic to just ignore it.
I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario with an even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse.
So I'm just kind of touching on this because I've seen some backlash on D'Angelo for that statement. Now, my interpretation, for whatever it's worth, I can't read his mind, but my interpretation was that D'Angelo was mostly referencing large creators who have some sort of current or like, you know, recent past ties to Cody, whether it be his friends or collaborators and the like, and kind of like the bro commentary space. Like, I don't personally think that he was talking about every creator in the commentary space at large. The observation by many was that there were many creators
Cody
associated
bigger
with
than Dr.
Cody who
Disrespect?
quickly covered stories like.
It's hard to like quantify it. I think he technically is though, I would say. Because Dr. Disrespect, although he had like a big following, because of like the weirdness, he isn't as like big mainstream wise. Where Cody was very mainstream, if that makes sense. Like Dr. Disrespect had a very cult following. And then also you're kind of comparing like a live streamer with like a more YouTuber, and like it's a little bit different. So yeah, but I would say Cody is like more mainstream. Like Dr. Disrespect is not getting invited to the Golden Globes. Do you know what I mean? Like Cody was like breaking into like literally regular celebrity culture almost in a way.
Like Dr. Disrespect, but we're not talking about this story, which had been simmering for a while. Now, we know that there's been a smattering of channels that have been talking about this since 2021 and even more recently before D'Angelo's video. But D'Angelo has a powerful voice, and his video spurred a lot of big creators to talk, specifically the bro commentators, which I think is great. Like, at the end of the day, the more amplification of stories like these, hopefully the more awareness of these types of topics can really help people to learn how to better protect themselves from harm. I've always had that stance.
Cody Co's a YouTuber. He's a beloved YouTuber with a massive audience. I've known him for like 10 years. I met him a long time ago. I mean, we're not like super close or anything, but I have known him for 10 plus years almost at this point. And something that I did not know about him was what he apparently did when he was 25 years old to a 17-year-old, also very famous at the time, content creator, tanamongeau. Or Mojo.
But sometimes, and again, this has nothing to do with D'Angelo. I think he's fantastic. I think his voice should be valued and protect him at all costs. And he created a very important video.
I'm like, do I want to watch the rest? I'm like, oh my God, because this stuff is like, whatever. I just want to like know if they cover that text that we were talking about. About the whole like... I don't think they do, chat. Where did we hear about that damn message? I'm surprised that they didn't cover that, like that one message that we talked about with the whole like, are we good thing? Like, I feel like that's like such an important part of this. Tana said it. I know, that's why I'm surprised that she didn't bring it up. Anyways, okay, we'll leave it at that because I feel like you get the gist of it or whatever. Yeah. This is before I head off, because this has already been like, holy shit, almost 4 hours. I just want to ask you guys this: do you think he's just gonna disappear? Because I feel like he might. Like, it's, how long has it been? 3 weeks? I don't know. Like, I can't tell if he has an ego or not. Like, if he has an ego, he'll definitely try to come back, right? Like, if he has an ego, he's gonna try to save it. He's gonna try to like save the fame, save the money, and all that, and like, you know, have a defense, I don't know what, or like an apology. But like, he could literally just never address this and literally disappear. Okay, but Dr. Disrespect didn't disappear. He came back recently. He'll try to go on his business as usual on a second channel. If it doesn't work, he'll disappear. He was a frat boy. He has to have an ego. I feel like every YouTuber has a bit of an ego. It's a very, especially at that level, there's got to be a bit of an ego. And is it, and I don't know, like, I feel like if he never addresses it, how is his wife going to continue to make YouTube content? Because that will like follow her forever. Even though like theoretically maybe it shouldn't. Like, it will. Because that will be people's only way of like trying to get to him, if that makes sense. Yeah, Dr. Disrespect came back on Twitter and basically said like that he was like he's going down that alt-right pipeline of like woke culture, blah 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 blah. A lot of these people don't ever disappear. Like, look at Shane Dawson, Colleen Ballinger, Jeffree Star, James Charles. Yeah, no, that's why it's hard to believe. It's really hard to believe. Who's the only person that disappeared? Jenna Marbles, which like I'm trying to think if anyone has actually like disappeared. Roblox just got banned in my country along with Instagram and Wiki. What? You know what's crazy? Roblox being involved with Instagram and Wiki. Like, they said also Roblox. Wait, what country did that? Jenna Marbles did call herself out and then left. Yes, I know. I don't know. Like, I feel like he might leave. Because the problem is Cody Co, kind of like Ned, built a following on like, ew, dude, these shows are so nasty. Oh my god, like what was it, that one that we ended up watching literally because of him, the like moms and sons dating shit, like very much like, ew, like nasty, always having the right opinion, squeaky clean, only for people to like look back and be revealed that like, oh, this is probably like not truly squeaky clean. Yes, MILF Manor. And I'm like, it's true, like, his following is very female dominated, like, compared to most male commentators. So how does he make a comeback in this scenario in any regard? And like, he could make an apology to Tana, but then it's like, as an audience, how do you look past the Gabby Hanna walking up to you and telling you, bro, she's literally 17, and you blatantly lying, being like, oh, thank you so much, and then going and having sex with her after? Like, no amount of mental gymnastics apology is going to get past something like that in that scenario. Like, I'm trying to think of like, okay, what is like literally the perfect thing that he could do? And I'm still sitting here being like, and I don't give a single fuck. Like, sayonara, motherfucker. Like, sorry, but no. And I guess like also it's like, and now he's silent. The text message being like, are we good? You know, I'm getting married soon. Like, there's just too much that I feel like so many people would be like, I'm good. Like, I'm good forever. And he has a company. So it's like he could literally just, like, he literally has that company, Chad. He could literally just play in the background and still make money. So I feel like he is just going to disappear. and just be some background person running his little company in hopes that it like eventually goes away and never comes back. Because so let's be honest, he's definitely fucking rich. He's gonna ignore it. This has been out for years. I know this has been out for years, but this is like something that everybody's talking about. Like, but to be fair, let's be honest with the media and Twitter. We all know what it's like. If something doesn't get talked about enough, it'll eventually go away unless someone brings it back up. Like, the internet will quickly move on so fast, which is kind of insane, but it's so true. So, I don't know. Maybe he'll literally just wait it out. Like a whole year. Like, genuinely. Because he can. He's rich. If anything, he'll be semi-successful as a DJ. Yeah, that is true. And he has the DJ thing. I wonder if he's still doing that. I didn't even remember that, but true. Anyways, chat, that was a lot, but I hope we all caught up on the Tana stuff. I didn't realize how many people were involved, and clearly, definitely there were more than like 2 people that knew this. I'm sure there are even more people than the people that have publicly said stuff that knew about this. Because one, Playlist Live is a busy place. Like, there are people all around, so there were definitely people that clocked that happening. Like, come on. Because Gabby Hanna did. Number 2, no offense, but like, teenagers are yappers, and Tana was 17. Tana definitely talked about it with people, I'm sure. Like, close friends, or even like friends, and friends of friends talk. So like, I'm just very curious, like, how many people knew. Truly. Or like, heard this going around. Because obviously Keemstar ended up knowing about it, like, and all that. Ugh. Ew. Anyways, I'm gonna head off.